future is here. You now have the power to unlock the secrets of the hobby. An innovation that will change the way the industry works. The game changer is here. Card Ladder.
While we wait for Josh, let me make a shameless plug here. Oh, man, he was quick. Okay. Still going to do a plug. The newest Sports Cards Culture is out. The debut is just finishing up. It is on the Card Ladder YouTube channel. So I think you can just go to youtube.com/cardladder to get to it. Boom, there we go. And this is called 5.2 million Mickey Mouse Sale. So just want to let you guys know, in case 2+ hours of crossover isn't enough, we have these episodes as well. What's up, Putnam? I don't know why I'm turning the camera back onto myself. This is hour one, okay? There we go. What's up, Snowman? Dude, oh, I've got a fun story. Andrew Iceman, what's up, man? What's up, everybody? Great to see you guys. Josh, how are you doing tonight?
I'm doing great, man. I posted on my story that it was a long week, and we were talking yesterday that, like, tonight's our night, man. We need crossover tonight.
Yes, we do. Now, will there be any reveals of the PC variety?
Of course. Of
Okay.
course.
Yeah, I think we should maybe let a few more people come in. Yeah, there we go. Warm it up.
Warm it up. Yeah, I had a pretty cool mail day of stuff that I had at Ship My Cards for a few weeks. So I had a nice, fun, built-up mail day. And then I do have a big PC card that I added this week. Man, I just love these selects, dude. They're so sick. And they're obviously really rare. You just don't see them come up very often. PSA 10s are tough. Love that one. This one will speak to you right now.
Oh, yeah. That one definitely speaks to me. That reminds me, I have a card I'm bidding on tonight during the show. I hope I win it.
Underrated part of eBay is finding best offer cards that have been sitting there for a while, and you like have a feeling that the auction would go higher, but just people just, they don't pull the trigger. People are like, "Where'd you get those?" I just got them on eBay.
Dude, that's so true. So true. Best offer can provide some really good deals.
This one's pretty big. I like the concourse design on this year. The golds, obviously, they have that goofy gold wave, which I'm not a big fan of at all. So gotta get the real. You gotta hold out for the real gold, the real out of 10. So yes, a couple people DM me and they're like, "Where'd you get that one?" I was like, "I just got it on eBay. It's been sitting there."
Nice.
And then big PC card.
Boom.
Obviously,
Boom.
did the mail day review already, but I look for any opportunity I can to bust this out.
Oh, yeah. We love to see it, dude. That is such a beautiful card, man. That's a 2003 finest LeBron James gold rookie out of 25. There's only one rare version of it ever, and it's a 1-of-1, and it's with Bob Track. So that gold right there is about as good as it gets.
How would you describe this pattern? I was trying to describe the pattern here to someone, and I just couldn't. Like, what would you? It's kind of like 2018 Prism, like it's obviously a little bit different, but it's kind of like that. Like, I was calling it like steel. Like, how would you describe it?
Christina, come here. Christina is the one who will be able to do this. Okay, are you looking at it?
Yeah.
How would you describe that surface? It's kind of like a bunch of tiny little embossed pieces on there.
I would really love to see this in hand, Josh. Hint, hint. We're coming over. But,
road trip?
Yeah, but I don't, it's almost like I want to say mesh, but it's not mesh. It's like I don't even know what to call it.
Oh, someone totally certified said mesh. Adam Lefko says chicken bumps.
I like mesh.
Yeah, it's like mesh, but like it's better than mesh. So
mini golf ball pattern.
What would you call the 2018 Prism? Because I like that style too. where it's got like the little indents or the little bumps.
I don't know what to call that, to be quite honest. And Christina,
Kinda
I'm
like
very
an-
disappointed with you right now.
It's like an industrial kind of thing, like steel, like an industrial steel or something.
Yeah, steel.
Versus-
There's a steel thing going on for sure.
Versus like, you know, you're just like you're flat. Well, this has like lines on it, but all right. Well, that's enough about me.
Do we have the best chat or not? Okay, some of the suggestions from the chat: cookie wafer, graphene paper, metal, studded mesh, checker plate.
Studded mesh. I like that one.
I like that too. That might be it. Okay. Let me tell a fun brief story before we get into questions. Met up with long lifetime friend of mine in the chat, Kyle Snowmain G, today, not today, but 2 days ago. And he said he had a few cards left over from childhood that he had preserved and kept very good care of, and he wanted to get them graded. So I was like, great, I'm sending out a group sub soon. Or I'm sending an order to a group sub. Let's do it. And so look what he shows up with.
You stole these from him.
Okay, hold on. All these just went straight from pack to case back in the mid 90s. They pulled all of these. And these, a lot of these, in my opinion, are probably going to 9 and even 10. And then he had all these as well.
It's ridiculous.
There's 17 tops.
That's crazy. How much do you think all that's worth? Did you give him like and there's Jordans? Did you give him like a rough estimate of?
Well, obviously it's going to really depend upon how it grades, but like, I think that this pile, the spectrum on this pile is $25K to $75K.
Yeah, I was thinking 50, so that makes sense.
Yeah, so that's not a bad find. And he says he has a whole room more stuff to go through, but he was like, let's just start with these 117 for now. So,
wow. Did you tell him, like, dude, you might have 50 grand here?
Yeah, well, before I wanted to give him a number, I just wanted to go home and look at them myself and check out the condition of them and stuff. And I was very impressed. These cards were very well preserved. Yeah, like Mr. September says, those Topps Kobe's are 5,000 as PSA 10s. So
they're hard to grade though right now. I got a 6 on mine.
Oh yeah, so there you go. So yeah, expectations should be obviously tempered accordingly, but still, I just thought it was so cool to like see a collection like this get unearthed that had just been preserved, for 20, 25 years. Pretty damn cool.
I mean, dude, up until like 6 months ago, that was basically just like a pile of base cards. But in the last 6 months, that kind of stuff has really taken off, especially in high grade, obviously.
Yes, it has. Thank you, investors, I guess. I don't know, but yeah, it has. Yeah, and demonstrating some wax here because we met my buddy at the card shop, and so obviously, if of course, you got to buy wax. So we got 3 mosaic packs for no real reason. Prism, no huddle, equivalent of fast break, but for football. So this is the mail day for the week. That's all I had to show off.
I think you said you got to buy wax. I think more specifically, you got to buy wax.
Yes, me being held hostage by Christina buys wax. Okay, let's move on now. Okay, so obviously it's January 15th. We're going to have a few rants today for you guys. We're definitely going to have a few rants for you guys today. Lots of stuff to talk about. But first, let's ease in with some questions. Even better, let's ease in with a pat on the back. This is a great comment from Goats and Grails. He says, just a quick shout out. Thank you for creating the card ladder. It has added enormous fun to an already fun hobby. My PC collection value is up over $200,000 in the last 2 months.
Oh.
Crazy easy to track. I love getting the emails. So
Nice.
shout out Ghosts and Grails, dude. I love hearing from you. You always send great questions in. Thank you for that. Thank you for giving us the opportunity to give a little bit of promotion to our passion project, which is Card Ladder. So thank you for that, dude. Do you have any comments on this guy's collection going up 200K in 2 months? Isn't that kind of crazy? And he's just seeing it happen overnight using the Card Ladder collection tool.
Congrats to that, man. I mean, we've seen it, quite a bit over Instagram, and this is my rant later, but so I'll give you the PC version of it now. But like, everyone's making money right now, and everyone's really, really excited, and they should be. Everyone's making money right now, and so enjoy it, I guess.
Indeed. Congrats. Enjoy. Never be afraid to take profits if you are an investor, and that's kind of what you're in it for, right? Okay, so this is a comment from Cardi C, but it's very timely. Cardi C Sports Cards, great YouTube channel, by the way. Definitely subscribe. He says, vintage baseball is still king. That is all.
Yes. So he's talking about the 52 Mantle?
Yes, indeed. So it is now the highest selling card, I think.
Yes. 5.2 million. We've got it in Card Ladder. You guys added it yesterday, right?
Yes, we did. We added it, and we generated a prediction for it using the PSA 4 Mantle, because that card sells the most of any of them, although none of them are high pop at all. But that one sells the most, and the prediction was 5.5 million. So,
excellent.
Yeah, seems like that price was in the ballpark of probably where it should be if all those different grades move together.
I love that you did the prediction on that, because it just kind of shows how accurate and kind of mathematical this stuff can be. When a lot of us work on the cards like these, we work off gut and like feelings and stuff, but you can kind of narrow it down if you really put in the time on it. So that's awesome.
You can, and it was very important to do the prediction on this one because the sale was a private deal that was publicly reported and publicly verified by 2 of the 3 parties to the deal. It was verified by the buyer and it was verified by the broker. The buyer was Rob Go. The broker was PWCC. The seller, we don't know who it is, so they have not, come out and said and verified the price. But so we had those two verifications, a very public statement. But we just want to make sure that since we do not normally include private deals, we've only included one other private deal except for this one, and it was a sale back in 2014 in the Beckett marketplace. It was reported by Beckett. It was a Jordan Star 101 BGS 9.5. So we will make an exception to include a private deal. And shout out to Frankie 3500 for putting that deal on our radar and helping us get that data. But we normally do not put private deals into the database. But we made an exception here I think for the obvious reason that the sale is very important to the hobby, but also because the prediction lined up too. So if the sale was 3x what the prediction seemed like, and that we couldn't really find any way to kind of rationally conclude that this is a realistic price that captures the market, maybe then it's a different situation. But the prediction lined up really well.
I was going to point out that I'm looking through the pops on all of the PSA graded mantles, and they're all really low. You said the PSA 4 is the highest, and it's only 193. So I know that 193 might seem high, but compared to all this stuff we're talking about today in the thousands and tens of thousands, it's kind of crazy. And this card is so old. There's not going to be many more of these graded in the future. So it's crazy just how actually rare this card is. I don't know the full history of this card. I'm sure our vintage baseball guys could help us out to explain maybe why it's so rare. I guess a lot of them just didn't survive the time, or maybe it was a rare card back then. I'm not sure.
Yeah, there's the whole thing about copies getting dumped into the ocean and stuff. I'm no scholar on this topic either, but there's some great lore surrounding that set and that card. Here's what I love about this. I love the fact that card has transcended the sport. I think it's even transcended the athlete. That card has become its own piece of history. And the fact that the highest valued card in the hobby is 70 years old, or just shy of 70 years old, is a tremendous fact from the perspective of the long-term nature of sports cards and their long-term financial viability. And I take great comfort in the idea that a card can become bigger than any sport, any athlete, any set. And the card, just like the Honus, the Honus Wagner card as well. That card is, I mean, with Honus Wagner's obviously was a professional baseball player, and he was pretty important at that time historically, I understand, but it's not about him. That card has become bigger than him, bigger than baseball. It's become the card itself is historic, and like it's a relic of the hobby rather than of a player or of a sport. So that's my little take on that topic. I just take great comfort in that, as is speaking to the long-term viability of the truly transcendent cards.
Another angle to this, I'll play devil's advocate a little bit. If you think about cards from like the 50s, and you're kind of referencing even older than that, there's really not a ton of different cards that come to mind. And I point that out to say, like, 50, 60, 40 years from now, the cards that we look at today, and we're all sort of like fighting over what's underrated, what's overrated, what card should we be looking at. It's kind of interesting to think about it 50, 60 years ahead and realize that like 99% of that is just not going to be remembered. And you kind of have to like take that with a grain of salt and, humble yourself a little bit that like, not every base John Morant select card is going to be remembered like some of these other cards are long-term, and, not everything's going to go up infinitely forever. There may just only be like a select handful of cards from this era that we remember 50 years from now. It's going to be more than there was in the 50s because there's more to choose from, but I'm not sure that we'll ever remember, 99.9% of cards 50 years from now like we do today.
Yeah. Yeah, true. Like I would think for the vast majority of cards, their market will exist, as long as the people who collected them exist. But like not many cards will continue to be super important, like from generation to generation to generation. Like that's only reserved for just a small handful of cards.
Yeah.
All right. Goats and Grails says 2011 Bowman Chrome Refractor Trout PSA 10 jumped $6,400, which it did. So his question is, did the Mantle sale cause Trout and baseball cards to jump in price?
That, coupled with the fact that baseball's coming up soon, I think they both played a part. I know that baseball stuff's been hot just because people are getting excited about the season, kind of the same cyclical thing that we see over and over. But yeah, I think the Mantle definitely had some trickle down for sure on the Trout, because you think Mantle in the modern day baseball, most people equate Trout to that as like the same type of player, and baseball is interesting, right? Like Trout has no playoff success. I think he has like one playoff hit. He's just kind of like, his value is more just like on him as a player and how he relates to Mickey Mantle and their style. And that's just like what baseball people like. He's collected, right? People collected. And I think that kind of speaks to Trout and his connection to Mickey Mantle and their style.
Yeah, the hottest card on Card Ladder, on the ladder itself, which is just it's just like PER in basketball or quarterback rating in football. It's just like a little formula that ranks every card along the same financial metrics. The hottest card on Card Ladder for, God, it's been like at least a week straight, is the number one ranked card is the 1993 SP Foil Derek Jeter BGS 95. That card sells, dude, I'm looking at its chart over let's see here, over last month. So like on January 2nd it did 9,000, then on the 6th it did 11,000, then on the 7th it did 14, then the 8th 15, then on the 10th 15, then on the 11th 18, and then yesterday it sold a few times for an average price of about $21K. So wow. Shout out to Lou in the chat. I see you in Card Talk Pod. Great content there, guys. So that card is a pop of 270. That card has been kicking ass, though, even before the announcement of the Mantle $5.2 million sale. Like, and dude, that card to me, like if I was going to do baseball, that one would definitely be on my radar. The foil, I bet that card is really nice, super low pop. You know, I don't know if you have any thoughts on that card.
If you, any Cardboard Chronicles fans out there, I had a guest on probably like a year and a half ago, and he was talking about how he was just buying a ton of these because he thought they were good value. I think he was buying them at like $6K a piece. So I hope he still has all of those. I know the PSA 10 of this card is like, you know, well over 100,000 by this point. You know, probably like because of the PSA 10, I believe the pop is, you know, incredibly low. Like PSA just won't give 10s on these. So the 9.5 would be a fun way to get into this card. It's still like obviously $20,000, but like a fraction of the price of PSA 10. And, you know, you could argue that a lot of those are a similar condition to the PSA 10. So that's a fun card. And it's, you know, obviously very historic. The Jeter and Trout are interesting because they don't have, like Jeter especially doesn't have like the big time like home run numbers and like these huge statistical numbers, but he's just like a popular player who, you know, played the game the right way. I think that's what baseball guys like. They like the, you know, the respect for the game and the way it's played versus, you know, these home run basher guys. So that's kind of interesting thing about the baseball market.
Yeah, it is. And it's interesting too. The top two cards are both BGS slabs. Yep. Maybe there's a little bit of a lag there where sure. So much PSA stuff went crazy that like now BGS is taking its turn a bit. That card is its own story. That card, there's only 99 of those Trae Young Immaculate collections, but like 10% of the population is sold in the last 2 weeks. Something's going on with that card.
Yeah, this is like one of those cards that I think of when I'm like 50 years from now, is anyone really going to care about an Immaculate trade? It's just like a secondary to the tertiary kind of card. Yeah,
that's a really interesting point. The thing that's needed to prop up those cards is for there to be a really, really good market for the other cards first.
Yeah.
Just feels safer to go with the mainstream, the key iconic ones, and not outthink ourselves. Although I will say, I think the Immaculate RPAs freaking look awesome. So
the LeBron Topps Chrome is on fire this week, right?
Dude, that's another card that's been for the last 2 weeks. You could probably just like look, and the chart is just going straight up and to the right. that card has been absolutely on fire. And very interestingly, it took a week or two of the NBA season for that to happen. So I don't know why that is, but I don't know. It's a trend to observe.
There's always lag on the vets because like most of the money goes into the rookies and people pulling rookie cards out of initial releases and stuff when the season starts. But eventually that like excitement fades away when you realize, you know, they're not winning championships, and then the money starts to go into the Giannis, LeBron, Kevin Durant type guys. But Kevin Durant, I think, had a lot of build-up this year because he didn't play last year, so he was almost seen as like a fresh start rookie with a new team, and that's why he got a lot of love early in the season. But I think you're going to see more of that shifted over to Giannis and LeBron in the next few months.
Totally. And then do you see the number 3 card is the 2003 Topps first edition LeBron PSA 10? So
I didn't even notice
that card's a pop 97. So it's not often that those sell, but I see we have like 4 sales logged in the last week. So like that card's been rapidly coming up. And I think people look at that as an alternative to the Topps Chrome. That's a lot rarer. You know, people just, you know, taking different approaches to this thing.
Right. Very cool.
Okay. Last question here on the mantle. Grail Chaser 77. I love how all the questions so far have been from the GOAT Cardi C, and then a guy named Goats and Grails, and then a guy named Grail Chaser. I feel like we are really at one with our audience. So Grail Chaser 77 says, how much would the PSA 10 mantle go for? Will PSA 9 sale bring one out?
The interesting thing to point out, though, is that the PSA 9 pop is 6 and the PSA 10 pop is 3, if I'm not mistaken. So it's not like the PSA 10 is, you know, that much harder to get than the 9. They're both just really, really hard to get. So I think whether you get a 9 or a 10 in that card isn't going to make a huge, humongous difference. I've seen people be like, oh, the 10 is going to go, you know, 30, 50 million. And that's generally what you see with these vintage cards because of the pop, you know, the difference between a 9 and a 10, a lot of vintage is like, pop 100 on a 9 and then like pop 5 or 6 on a 10, to where there is like a huge gap because it's that much more rare. But in this case, I'm not sure that I would go that far. I'd probably say like 15 million.
Okay.
20 million just because of the PSA 10 allure. You're just having the 10, so maybe 20 million.
Yeah, well, I know I read an interview with Rob Go, who's the buyer of the PSA 9, and he said he talked to owners of the PSA 10, and they were just like, sorry, we are just simply not selling this card at all. Now, we have actually some experts on this topic in the chat. We have Three Kings Cards, who is a professional in this industry and knows quite a bit, especially about topics like this. He says 30 million. Sports Appraisals. Similarly, an absolute expert and professional in this arena, and it works incredibly closely with PSA. He puts 17 million minimum on it. Great card shop owner and collector Frankie 3500 says 8 figures for sure. So we definitely have a consensus here building. I think that we're definitely looking at 8-figure range here. I guess maybe a different question is, how much money would it take for a buyer to let the card go, knowing that, for a seller to let the card go, knowing that they will probably never, ever get that card back?
That's the real question. On any card like that, it's a name your price kind of thing. I think, trying to step back, I think that PSA 10 Mantle is the best sports card that exists. Just, taking a temperature of the room and like what I see from vintage baseball guys, and I think that the 52 Mantle PSA 10, because the pop is so low, because of what the card is, I think that's the best card in existence. Obviously it's not like my favorite card, but I'm just trying to think about it, as unbiased like that. That's just an insane card. I've seen videos of it, like going into a museum, and it like went in like an armored truck, and the guy that owned it was just like very, very excited about it, and that's incredible.
Yeah, dude, that puts things in a whole new perspective when like this piece of history has to be shepherded around by guards and armored trucks, and it resides in a museum. Now we start to get an appreciation and perspective on a card like that.
What's the pop on the Jordan? Someone called Card Gems said the BGS 10 Jordan. That one's good too. Do you know what the pop is on that?
Oh, I think it's very low. I do think we have it. Maybe
no.
Yeah, I don't know. It's very, very low. I know that for sure.
It's like under 10, right? Am I speaking out of? I think it's like super low.
Oh, let me look it up.
Anyways, those are both just like monster cards. And then when you get into the the modern space, there's stuff that's like more rare for total print run, but the grade doesn't differentiate things as much because the more modern cards are easier to grade. So like you get these high grades in these super old vintage cards, and it makes these things kind of incredible.
Yeah,
top 5, yeah. It's under 10 for sure. I know. I don't even think I've pop 6. Card Gem says it's pop 6. If you want to come back,
yeah, okay.
That's crazy.
Yep, that probably that sounds about right.
You were on like step 7 of looking up a pop report for BGS. You had to log in, and you gotta click, and you gotta log in, you gotta click, and it opens up a new tab every time you click.
It is true. Okay, I am logged in. I'm going to be. Once I start this task, I'm going to finish it. Okay, there are 0 black label BGS 10s. 0. There are 6 gold label BGS 10s. 6. That's
crazy. And the PSA 10 is like like 330. So that's what I was talking about when you talk about how the PSA 10 is 200K. With the pop of 330 relative to the BGS, like the ratio from the PSA 10 to the BGS 10 has got to be a lot larger than the PSA 9 to 10 for Mantle, just because of the difference in the population.
Definitely. And, if I can just step back and take like a meta approach here for a second, I just love how we're 2 guys in our 30s and we have a chat full of people like in 30s and 40s, 20s. I'm sure that's the majority. And we're all sitting here marveling at a sports card of a player that we never watched play, from a set that we were not alive to collect, and our parents probably weren't even alive to collect. And here we are marveling, acknowledging it, respecting it, paying homage to it, understanding the importance of history, understanding the importance of the hobby as a historical phenomena. And I don't know. I want to acknowledge that. And I think that's a testament and a credit to our hobby and to the people in it, that we have the perspective to step back and say, yeah, maybe it's not what we like to collect. Like, it's not where we're spending our money right now necessarily, but like any one of us would be thrilled to have a Mantle PSA 3 in our collection, 52 tops. And we understand the history and the importance of it.
Well, it's also it's very important to have that 52 Mantle. And the reason it's important is that, you know, you've got guys that are pumping Bitcoin and video games and you know, all these different markets, and they're talking about how, you know, they're trying to say sports cards are a credible investing vehicle, right? Well, we can point to something 70 years back in time that shows like this is actually a credible market. We have older items. You know, this isn't like baseball cards and sports cards aren't like a new thing that's popped up in the last 10 years like Bitcoin, with absolutely no market trends, and there's nothing for you to point to that's more than 10 years, which is a very big part of establishing markets. If you look at stock market trends, you know, you can go back really far. And we have that in sports cards too. It's important to be able to point that out to people. And we have the Mantle. It's like the Mantle is our card as hobbyists that we can point to and say, look, here's like an actual piece of history you can go back to and say, sports cards have been around for a long time. They've always had value. This isn't going away tomorrow. This isn't Bitcoin, or, you know, this isn't one of these things. And it could, you know, it's here to stay long term.
Yeah, dude, that's a great point. And like, I would just also like add on to that there's nothing wrong at all with, in fact, I would highly encourage just all of us as collectors and hobbyists and investors to just be extremely grateful for what we do have. And if it ain't broke, you know, if it ain't broke, we don't need to fix it. So the hobby has exploded. Sports cards, by all indicators that I see, and I'm no Nostradamus, but it looks like cards are going to be very, very energized this year in 2021. I think we have a lot to look forward to, a lot of energy, enthusiasm. And you know what? Now we have to be careful stewards of what we've inherited. And we have to protect it. We are in an era, in a moment now, where education and caution and responsibility and safeguarding and protecting what we have and what we've inherited with sports cards, we have to make that our number one mission now, is to treat this industry and this market and this entire culture and hobby with care, with respect, with dignity, never mislead, always try to be transparent, upfront, honest. These are like the principles that we go back to every single week. And like, I don't know, from my point of view, it's like, man, I feel like that's our duty and our responsibility, is to underscore those points. So just wanted to, now I'll step off my soapbox, but I feel
this is your rant, dude. This is your rant. Keep going.
Well, you know, it is. And so something I've seen happening over the last month, 2-3 months, is that people have very valid criticisms of sports cards. Same criticisms that we make and that a lot of collectors make and people have been around for a long time. And they'll point out that, hey, look, high population prison base cards, for example, are risky. There's, you know, people are controlling these markets. These markets may or may not be manipulated. And the long-term prospects of these things, with these population reports being so high, are probably bad. And we echo these points. We make these points ourselves. But what happens next, though, in the conversation, is that sometimes I see people say stuff like that, and then they are speaking to an audience of collectors who are now scared and bewildered. And whereas us, you know, we will say, hey guys, I think like one reasonable approach would be to take a step back and look at more rare cards, focus on more iconic cards, maybe shift away from some of the prospects if you're very heavy in prospects, and get involved in guys like LeBron, Kobe, Jordan, Mantle, Trout, Mahomes, Brady, Gretzky, stuff like that. And we say, look, like, think about what you love about collecting, get in touch with your collector, collect for the intrinsic value of collecting. But I see other people make a pivot to whereas they'll poo-poo and rain on all of, the things that worry and scare us about cards. They'll rile up the fears and the anxieties of a big card collecting audience, and then they will pivot and try to push that audience into a different category of even riskier investments. So whether it's Bitcoin or, whether it's obscure memorabilia, things like this. And I scratch my head at that, and I even get disappointed by it, because it's very worrisome to me that people will take legitimate concerns about cards, but instead of addressing it and keeping it within sports cards, they'll then say, well, why don't you look over here instead and get involved in this penny stock, or get involved in Bitcoin, or get involved in these obscure memorabilia pieces, or whatever the case may be. And to me, like, we know what we have with sports cards, and we should carefully protect what we have with sports cards. We should be loyal to sports cards, and stay within what we know. We shouldn't get greedy. We shouldn't just think that everything's just going to be this gravy train or this money train. Look back, look at the factors that made the hobby what it is. Look at what made cards and the sports card industry what it is, and be content and content ourselves with what we know. Okay. So, all right. I kind of rambled a bit, but yeah, that's my thoughts.
Well said, man. Very nice. I totally agree with everything you said.
And James, yes, James, you nailed it, buddy. That's right. All right.
Yeah. Or all soccer cards. Soccer cards, right? Is that, you forgot to mention that.
Well, so there's nothing wrong with people taking a risk on soccer cards, especially if they love soccer and they want to make that become a thing.
Yeah, I'm just joking.
But, so Rob Go, the owner that mantled PSA 9, he had an interview with Tyler from Card Talk podcast, and he said that he had bought Kylian Mbappe Prism PSA 10s for over $2,000 when it peaked. So, like, as an investor, I think this mantle is a totally different type of investment than the soccer cards. But, like, you have people who just literally are coming in and they're trying to get involved at all different levels and tiers of this hobby. And, I don't know, like, there's people making all types of investments all over the place. And we're in a moment right now where the hobby is absolutely booming. Josh, you and I look at this data every day. Like, this is August. Remember last August when the hobby went crazy? Like, the hobby's going even crazier right now. We're in a boom again. And it's a moment to be cautious, to be careful, to not get sucked up into any parabolic trends that aren't going to be sustainable. So,
yeah. The other thing that you talked about, it wasn't like the basis of your rant, but I'll pull it out from what you were talking about, and that was that, like, we have a responsibility as stewards of the hobby going forward, and I think that's really important to point out because there's a lot of people that are getting a little bit crazy with stuff. They've made some good decisions, and people are making money, so they're kind of taking that as like a free pass to just go and act irresponsibly and pump stuff they shouldn't be pumping and try to convince people to join their next new crazy idea that they have. And I think what you said was really key in that it's important for us, and I talk about this a million times, and I'm just going to keep saying it over and over, like, education is just so key for us, and getting us to, like, bring new people into the hobby the right way is just so important. We can't just be having people like Rob Go come in through Mbappe base PSA 10 cards and having them get pissed off. Luckily for us, he found his bearings and kind of went, the complete opposite direction and went for something a million times safer and made the right choice. But that's not happening across the board, and I think it's up to us, guys like you and me. We take that role very seriously. And even if you've only been in the hobby for 6 months or a year, you know infinitely more than people coming into the hobby today. You've been through the crazy highs of August and the crazy lows, dips of September. So use that to teach people and, pass that knowledge down on how to properly go about the hobby.
So true. And, dude, when I look across people making content in the hobby, I think there's a few content creators who are responsible. I think there's a few who verge on being curmudgeons, which is taking it too far. I think sometimes I can get into that territory, which is really funny because me from 4 years ago would have hated 2021 me, but right. I digress. but the vast majority of the content landscape is packed full of these. The hobby's nothing but, flowers and sunshine and rainbows. And while it does definitely feel that way, like it's definitely very helpful to always have a dose of skepticism, have some cautious optimism, better way to do it. And just really ask yourself, how many content creators out there care about the true long-term viability of the hobby? And how many content creators out there are like, well, let's see if we can have a good 2 to 3 year run, because that is the core difference here. I want to collect and enjoy sports cards for my whole life. I want this thing to be sustainable, enjoyable, healthy, etc. If a content creator out there has told you, I've heard people say this, if they literally say, hey, I think cards can have a good 2 year run and then we'll see where we're at. I just don't really think that jives with what most of the people that we talk to want to see happen. We want to have a long-term, sustainable, viable hobby that continues to be a great escape and release and enjoyment for us, helps us enjoy sports more, helps us enjoy our lives more, communities, friendships. What happens to all these communities and friendships we've built if we pump this thing up into something silly and parabolic, and then, the momentum loses and all of a sudden things start to come down? What happens to all those communities and friendships? We don't want to lose all that stuff. So let's protect this thing. That's what I have to say.
Well said, dude. I agree with everything. Well said.
All right. Lots more questions here. All right, let's go back to a more analytical question, less philosophical. Okay, this one comes from Card Optics. He says, talk about the move from growth to value. And then he put in parentheses, rookies versus blue chips. This is another topic. When we came on the scene and we started doing these episodes, in May, I think it was, of 2020, this was one of our very first themes, was talking about prospects versus legends. And we have always been on the legends train, although we like active players too, modern, young prospects, but we've always been on the legends train ever since day one. And now there was a big movement that happened maybe 3 to 4 months after we had started our show that could be described as the movement from rookies to blue chips, or as Card Optics calls it, the movement from growth to value. So what are your thoughts on this movement that we've seen happen in the hobby from growth to value?
Well, I think we talked a lot about it in this rant in this rant we just had, but people just kind of are getting more educated, right? And they're understanding that the risky stuff is fun, but it's not long lasting. You may not see the gains on the legends. I mean, you have, obviously, there's been more gains on the legends recently, but you may not see the gains on some of these older cards. But you're also just not seeing the losses on it, to be honest. There's very few graphs that I could find where the legends or the Hall of Famers are going up and down, or they're going, they start high and then go low. It's really just a steady kind of, it's almost like looking at an Apple chart or Microsoft. It's just kind of steady as she goes, up and to the right kind of deal. And, we may be due for a correction on some of that stuff, regardless of how good a player is, or whether it's Michael Jordan or LeBron or anyone. We may still be due for a correction, so don't take it as you can't lose money. But it's just a safer thing. And as people got burned with some of the rookies and stuff in that August time frame, I think, it was just natural that, I'm tired of getting burned. Let me just put something safer. And then I don't have to worry about selling it super quick, and I don't have to be watching that player play every day and react to them super fast. I can just sort of relax and take pride in what I'm collecting and not necessarily what I'm investing in.
Dude, I perfectly said. I have nothing to add to that. This question comes from Mike Pinkerton 50.
Yep.
He says, who has the best card to invest in instincts? And I'm going to interpret this question as looking across the hobby, or looking across all the people on Instagram, or the people in this chat, or whoever, who in this hobby has the best card to invest in instinct. And so, is there anybody that you look at when you go on Instagram, you look at their PC, and you just say, this person has a great instinct. They're always buying stuff that seems to be good investments?
Man, that's a really hard question. I'm thinking like of collectors, honestly. Like I'm having a hard time picturing like a investor daily content game that's like pulling all the right stops. Because it's also hard to narrow it down just like the time frame we're talking about, like over the last year. I'm trying to think of someone that's done it like consistently. Oh, I got it. I know who it is. Elite Co 3.
Yeah, that's a great one.
I like the way he approaches it. He's really not like ever panicking on things. He's just sort of like buying what he likes, but he's also thinking about like, you know, he was big on like Albert Pujols like 3 years ago, which is like, you know, Albert Pujols wasn't hot 3 years ago, but like he knew that, hey, dude, this guy's like getting towards the end of his career, Hall of Famer. He's gonna have the crazy stats. Like it just makes sense. He was buying. I remember watching videos of him buying like Drew Brees, Larry Fitzgerald, and then now, you know, today it's like, oh my gosh, you got to get Drew Brees. Everyone knows he's gonna make. And he's just like he's been talking about that stuff for years. So that's a good one for me.
Oh yeah, I think it's a terrific selection. I'm gonna nominate Stephen Go for this one.
That's a good one.
You know, obviously, I'm incredibly jealous of the way he put together a Michael Jordan collection. He started it in 2012 and just has stayed the course and continued to buy and continue to collect. He's built Noah's Ark of Michael Jordan cards. He literally has 2 of everything, at least. But then you look at the rest of his PC. You know, he's got key LeBron rookies, huge LeBron rookies. He's got key Mike Trout rookies. He's got so many awesome Kobe cards. He's got just amazing, absolutely amazing instinct. And, you know, as I look over his PC and I go back years and years looking at his old posts, I never see a single player or a single card in there that did not, you know, that isn't an iconic card of an iconic player.
Sure.
That's just all he's got. So he embodies that collector mindset, blue chip cards philosophy to a nutshell. And literally, if anybody just like started trailing what he was doing in 2012 and just copied what he did and bought the same cards he did over the last 8 years, you'd be a millionaire several times over.
You know what? It's funny. Also, the interesting thing about those two guys, they're both extremely humble, quiet, reserved, patient individuals. I've never seen either of those two like pump different things or ideas they have, or they haven't flaunted all these crazy investments they've made. They just go about their business. They quiet, and these are the things you need to fucking look for when you're trying to follow somebody. Do not follow the guy that's shouting from the top of the mountaintop. Follow the guy that is like quietly building up an insane collection without telling you about it every day. That's what you need to be doing. Follow guys like that. Go to Stephen Go's Instagram account, scroll through his pictures, and I guarantee you all of you guys will be like, oh my God, I didn't know he had all this stuff. Why did I know that he had all of these? Because he doesn't post it every day, the same fucking card over and over. He just quietly goes about his business, builds his collection, does it in a humble, reserved way that I respect greatly. And I try to embody stuff like that from collectors that came before me, like those two gentlemen. And, you know, like we said, carry that torch forward and try to teach other people the same humble approach.
I love that common thread that you found. These are very humble guys. You something you say that always sticks with me is that you say, please, I don't take advice from people who shout at me. Don't shout advice at me in the same monotone tone of voice, but instead, you know, these guys are total class acts and super.
You got 5,000 followers, dude. Fucking people with like no good cards that are telling you what to invest have 30,000 followers, and like the best collection maybe on Instagram has 5,000. Give me a break.
So just, dude, I mean, I'm just gonna go through this, right? Tiger Woods, he's been collecting Tiger Woods stuff. LeBron, Jordan's main PC, Kobe, Jordan, Kobe, Jordan. Look, of course he has this card too, right? Before that card blew up, he had one of these in his PC. The Bird and Magic rookie. He's got some game tickets, Magic, Jordan, LeBron, Jordan, Kobe, signed baseballs. I mean, the guy is just a polymath. there you go, Yam and Lefko. Put that one on the bingo as well. The guy just has everything. Funko Pops. That he has a whole collection involving toys and other collectibles that he has. I mean, and the guy just awesome photos. You could just look. There he is with Pippen. He tells the story of how he got back into cards. It involves, going and seeing old NBA players play. This guy just has a collection to follow and to emulate. And if we go back far enough, we'll get to like his Trouts and all that other stuff too. Just great taste, long-term perspective. Guy just loves collecting. So
also, though, we should probably point out, just for people who are going to get mad at me later, those guys also had the benefit of time on their side. They've been in the hobby a lot longer, so they were able to acquire some of those pieces cheaper. So just, people may hear this advice and be like, well, I can't just go buy what those guys have. It's, it's too late. And it's true. You will not be able to replicate that in any way, shape, or form. But, take what they've done and try to, extrapolate the way they went about it and not necessarily the exact cards. I think that's really what we're talking about the most, right, Chris? Wouldn't you say that, we're not telling you what cards to buy. We're trying to teach the skills and the knowledge of in general what cards you should buy, what type of cards you should buy, or what timing, when to buy cards, or things like that, but not necessarily just go buy ABC.
Totally. I think you could just scroll his page and learn about his mindset. So
Exactly.
he has a 52 Bowman Mantle PSA 5. I mean, dude, I don't think in the Philippines I don't even think they follow baseball that closely there. Although I may be speaking out of turn there. Do they follow baseball closely in the Philippines? I don't know. Penny Hardaway.
Oh, nice. I know he has a lot of Penny stuff.
Yes. Just Oscar Robertson. Just from a great set, from the Epic Signatures Upper Deck set, the Century Legends. It's a mindset. It's a guy. Obviously Jordan is his main PC. But then he's very knowledgeable of the hobby, and he found out what the key cards are, and then he patiently and diligently acquired them.
Dude, every time a new card or a new set or some new fad gets hyped and it goes crazy, he already has that. He posted the Tiger Woods stuff. He's like, yeah, I already had that. I don't know why you guys are all excited about it now. I've had that stuff forever.
Exactly.
Yeah. He's not really it's not like he's trying to stay ahead of hype and stuff. He's just sort of whatever opportunity presents itself at that time, he goes about it in a very responsible way. I'm sure we've got to get Steven to watch this live, and he'll be very, hopefully, humbled and excited to hear all the nice things we have to say about him.
Yeah, but he's just such a humble guy, though, But I'll send it to him. Great question, Mike. I thought that was a very, very provocative question. But Mike in the chat did clarify that I kind of extrapolated away from his question. The question actually was, what was it? It
was of the team.
Of the three of us, it said.
Yeah.
Meaning Christina, Josh, and me.
I guess.
Well, the two of you are better than me, and then I'll let the two of you fight for who's better, because it's definitely not me. You can look at my Christian McCaffrey file.
Christian McCaffrey doesn't count.
And I'm still buying him, so I double and triple down. So, Mike, I don't know about that one, man, but I hope that this answer was actually a more satisfying one. I think it was.
We got time to squeeze in. There's a very riveting debate going on in the chat, which I'll leave to the chat for now because it's going to get me in trouble. But people have talked about the meme post. I feel like we need to save that for hour 2. Can we talk about that in hour 2?
Sure. I'll make a note right now. Hour 2.
You know what I'm talking about?
The meme post. The Rolex
You know what I'm talking about? Yes.
Yeah.
I had no background into it, and then I dug into it, and now I think it's amazing.
Okay,
Mike's
you're
in
gonna have to school me on it. I don't know what the background is.
All right, well, it's an hour two.
Okay.
We're gonna get in trouble kind of scenario. All right, let's squeeze in one. Let's squeeze in one more. I feel like we're on a roll. Let's see if we can get one more good one.
Yeah. Oh, there was so many questions in here. I'm browsing them. Maybe touching on how you guys got started. We've answered that one before. Maybe that's hour two. This is a fun one. I'll say that for hour two. That's a little too fun for hour one. This is a good one to end on because I feel like a lot of good philosophy has been dispensed here. This comes from Slabs to Men. The question is, could you go into how investors can best utilize market cap? Any instances that would really put market cap to good use? So what do you think? Could you maybe give your little spiel once more on market cap?
Sure. I usually use market cap to put myself back in my place on certain cards. Like, for example, the Luka base Prism PSA 10 market cap is higher than Kobe Bryant and stuff, where it's like, come on, I understand that it's a popular card and it's it's a good release. It's got a great rookie class. It's Luka, but are we really gonna say that the market cap should be higher? Because people generally see the value and say, well, the Luka base is a fifth of the price of the Kobe or whatever. But I look at the market cap more in terms of the true indicator of where the card is in relation to other iconic cards and other cards of similar players and stuff, because that tells you just how much money is being invested into it on the macro level. And it's important to understand that, not get bogged down in just the individual current value, which is just the current value of a card is just easier to digest and understand. Market cap takes a little bit more understanding of the general hobby and market as a whole. And I think it's, I don't see enough people talking about market cap. And the other one I do is if I think about market cap of all Julius Erving rookie cards versus DeAndre Hunter, more people are spending more money as a market cap hole on DeAndre Hunter than Julius Erving rookie cards. Things like that, where I'm like, come on, I understand that he only has one rookie card, and DeAndre Hunter has a million, so it's really not an apples to apples scenario, but it's just kind of a humbling way to realize that you might be spending too much money on somebody when the market cap in relation to someone as a better player is not matching up.
Yeah, and it's a different way to process pop reports.
Yeah,
it's a different way to emphasize discrepancies. One card has a pop of 5,000 and another one has a pop of 500. And okay, that's one way to understand the difference. But if the pop 5,000 card also, beyond it being 10x the pop of the other card, if the market cap is 100x the other card, it just kind of underscores maybe, I don't know, a different way to think about what could happen if, for example, somebody wanted to flood the market with this card.
Sure. I
think market cap for me is a way to think about worst case scenarios and to think about, man, if somebody decided to sell a bunch of these cards, or a bunch of these cards came to market, what's going to happen to the price of this card? And if it's high pop and it has a super high market cap, I get nervous at that point in time.
Yeah, I'm scrolling through the all-time market cap numbers in our database, and the PSA 9 Jordan Fleer is 113.
Dude, that is ludicrous. That not long ago, I remember looking at that list and that card was 30 to 40 million market cap.
113 million. And then you're scrolling Jordan, LeBron, Jordan, Charizard, Jordan, LeBron, Luka. What are you doing there? Hey, what's going on? What's this guy doing in this little list right here? Triple of 3 Hall of Famers.
Yeah, he's dropped as well. He used to be even higher.
Used to be higher?
Yeah, on the rank, relative to other cards. So maybe that's the market cap method at work. Some correcting is happening.
Numbers don't lie though. You can dress it up any way you want, but when you pull up that market cap ranking, it's got all the stuff you would expect.
Yes, it does. all right. We have 25 seconds, so let's go ahead and end this. We'll come back in 2 to 3 minutes.
Let me run the chat for the next hours because we don't want a time limit on hour 2. Let me do it.
You got it. You got it, buddy.
I'm about to call Instagram tomorrow and be like, what the fuck?
He'd be like, look, guys, I got how many? 12,000? 13,000 or whatever?
Do you want me to be using your platform or not, guys? We like it. Come on.
I'm pretty much boosting the stock price of Instagram myself.
Look what Yam Wax said.
What did Yam say?
He said, I'm probably limited, probably inviting too many IG models to his breaks. That's amazing.
I think Yam is onto something there.
God, dude. I feel like such an idiot having all of our friends having to join 4 times. I feel like such an idiot. I'm sorry, guys. I don't know what's going on.
I would look at it the other way. I think everybody's along for this adventure. And if you made it to round 4, you're a real one.
You're a collector.
Yes, exactly. Collectors only for hour 2.
We only got an hour, so let's go. It's definitely my fault, guys. I don't know what's going on.
All right. Can we talk about the Lamine post?
Okay, sure.
Let me pull it up.
It's going to require us to make fun of someone, though.
Well, we don't ever do stuff like that, so. Yeah,
okay. So C. Blez is a very commonly followed account. And he's been, he's controversial. He posts stuff that some people don't like. But basically, he's been making a lot of money from the hobby. So he posted a picture of himself wearing a Rolex. He was basically saying I've made so much money from the hobby that I bought myself a Rolex. And he posted the same picture of himself 4 times. And his post was basically exactly what Lamine said right there, where it's thank you, yeah. 4 of the same picture. So the savage that Lamine is just went right after that one.
Okay. All right. Well, so let me say this first of all, before we go forward. Lamine James has posted a meme that put my head on top of an NBA player who was grabbing the crotch of another NBA player. All right?
Nobody's safe. Nobody is safe.
He said something about me going down too many rabbit holes or something. And then he put you in the back of a Honda Civic, or maybe you were driving the Honda Civic, and Trey was in the back seat. You had taken Trey hostage. Okay, so that's topic number 1 here. Everyone is fair game to be attacked. If you're attacked by Lamine James, in some ways, it's a badge of honor. You are relevant to the hobby.
My favorite one he did that one with me where it's the training day one where Denzel goes into the neighborhood where people are mad at him because it was guys, I'm doing football, and everyone's like, football, what the fuck?
Yeah, yes, exactly. Okay, good. Lefko says Lamine made fun of him in his very first week. Yeah, it's a badge of honor. It's a badge of honor to the hobby.
Yeah, it's better to be made fun of by Lamine than not. We'll just leave it at that.
So, all right, now I get why it got posted the 4 times.
Yeah, he leaves no stone unturned on those jokes. It's there's a lot of layers to it. You gotta read into it.
There's layers, and yet it's not complicated. The graphics are never complicated. There's never too much going on. Good stuff. It's good stuff. All right. Well, enough said on that one.
P. Ryan is insulting C-Blaz for not showing it. Gosh. So there's been fights about this Rolex, it seems. The Rolex stuff is an actual drama-inducing thing, apparently.
Yeah, see, this is a rant that belongs – this is a different branch of the same tree of the rant from hour 1. Guys, we're on Hobby Instagram. I don't give a damn about your Rolex box, if it's authentic or not. I don't care about Bitcoin. I don't care about any of this other crap. Keep it off your hobby pages.
Well,
If you want me to look at your stories, maybe you don't. That's fine too.
Well, like, I just don't understand why the hobbies changed your life. You made enough money to buy a Rolex, but you bought a Rolex and not a card? Like,
It shows that you don't actually care about the card. You saved up all the money and you went and bought something stupid. Why don't you just go buy an Escalade? Buy something even dumber.
That is a great point. Guys, I'm so good at cards that I made money and I bought a watch. Huh?
But maybe a watch is like a safer something safer. Like it doesn't change in value up or down. It just sort of is like a storage of cash. But is it like shoes? You're not supposed to be wearing them, right? I don't know how this game works, but like when you buy things, you're not supposed to wear them. I'm not walking around with the cards in my pocket.
you don't have a chain that you wear your slabs in around your neck?
I was told to do this.
Oh, we spilled the beer. That's a solo cup, isn't it? Wait, no, what is that?
Yeah, it's a solo cup, I think.
He's playing beer pong over there.
Yeah. Let's admire the watch.
Okay, Adam tells me to, dude, Adam, I have had the same pair of shoes for the last year. I basically I buy a pair of shoes, I wear it for a year, and then they get worn down, and then I buy a new pair in it. But with COVID, I haven't even worn my shoes, so it's like this pair's gonna last me 2 years.
Only 3 years? I need my Asics to go for 5 to 10.
ASIC, God, dude, come on. It's all about Nike.
No, I guess, but Asics just seemed more dad shoeish.
Right. Well, maybe I need to get some Asics. Are C-Bluz and P. Ryan having a fight or something? Is that what's going on? Interesting.
Dude, I can't keep up with that, nor is it healthy to.
No, if you're not posting cards, you lose my interest.
100%. 100%.
All right, let's go.
Do you want to talk about the NFL game? I mean, we're about to have a tremendous weekend.
Oh, dude, I cannot. Dude, divisional round is my favorite by far because it's twice as many games as the championship rounds, and it's just as many good teams. And oh my God, it's gonna be so awesome. The Ravens-Bills game. Every game has an amazing story. The Packers, Rams with the Rams defense and the Packers amazing offense, and then what are the other ones I'm missing? The Bucks and Saints rematch. And can Brady get over the hump as a 43-year-old? Not get over the hump. That's a horrible way of saying it. Can he continue his ascent into greatness? Man, the NFL is going to be awesome.
So you just nailed the storylines. I love the Lamar Josh Allen storyline.
Yeah.
At this time last year, it would have been unanimous that Lamar Jackson is the best player out of 2018 draft class. At this time now, a year later, I think the consensus would probably be maybe favor Josh Allen.
Yeah.
AKA Young Elway is what they're calling him.
Yep, I've heard that.
This game is going to settle the score. Both teams are very good in different ways, and I just think it's an amazing. Let's figure out who the true crown jewel of the 20-team draft class is. So,
and then the Chiefs-Browns. Can the Browns keep their momentum going after that bludgeoning of the Steelers? And can the Chiefs take off the rust? They haven't played in 3 weeks. That'll be interesting. And I think the Chiefs are favored by 10, which if you follow football betting, that's just like a death sentence. 10 is just so many. That's a lot.
Yep. And so Lefko has podcasts that do gambling previews that are terrific. So here's the spreads, all right? And you tell me if this makes sense to you or not.
Okay.
Tampa Bay at New Orleans. Saints are favored by 3.
Yeah, they crushed them the last time they played. They crushed them.
Yeah, they did.
The Saints defense is no joke, man.
Yeah. No, that's true. However, the Tampa Bay Bucks also lost to the Bears during that same stretch of games. So
The Bucks are the Bucks are warming up at the right time. Are the Lakers up by 25 for real?
yeah, I can't believe it because she just told me it was a 5-point game like 10 minutes ago.
They were down by 10 when I went live.
Wow.
That's all I wanted to tell him.
Wow. How has Zion looked? Has anybody in the chat been watching? I watched like 5 minutes of the game, and Zion looked pretty good, dude. I don't know. He looked pretty
More
good.
importantly, how was Trey tonight? I'm getting thirsty, bro. Like,
Let me pull up the box score.
I've seen a lot less posts about Trey Young recently. I don't know if you guys are. What's going on? Where's the Trey stuff? Where's the Hawks championship contenders posts? I must have missed those.
This can't be right. It says Trey played 24 minutes, had 4 points, 7 assists, and 4 rebounds.
4
That can't-
points.
That can't be right.
No, you check another site. That's not right.
All right, let me get on ESPN because that's Google. I'm using Google.
Oh no, you can't trust those guys. They control the data.
Right? Are they vetting this data?
No.
No, they
That's
took away
not right.
Luka's triple-double today.
Yeah, Christina was very upset about that.
Yeah, dude, Christina, you know that there's other teams, right? You know that there's like other games and stuff.
No, she doesn't.
What?
No, I know. It's just like she's like,
the
oh,
other teams- the other teams just come out to play Luka.
but, no,
Every other
That's-
team
you know-
plays 2 games a year.
They don't
I-
exist unless they play Luka.
that's a real fan right there. Someone who's just like completely blind. Dude, I'm 100% about that game with LeBron. I'm just like, who is this? Who's this Trae Young guy? That's not LeBron. What do I even care about this guy?
All right. Can we just talk about this box score, please? All right. And this is why, dude, Lamim is a great sport because he's a Trae Young collector and he watches these. And so, so Lamim, anyway. All right. So we got Trae, 24 minutes, 1 of 11 from the field, 4 rebounds, 7 assists, 4 points, and a minus 17. But not to be outdone, Cam Reddish pulled off
Minus 34.
the unbelievable minus 34. So
He should be a Clipper. You know that minus 50 box score, guys. All right, let's get into the Nets right now. We haven't even talked about the Nets at all. We got to get into it right now. Everyone, buckle up. It's Nets time.
let's talk Nets.
Okay.
Nets. So
Okay.
big trade. All right. I'll set the table. The
Yep.
Nets have acquired James Harden. The Rockets have acquired 4 draft picks, 3 from the Nets, 1 comes by way of Milwaukee, and then they also own 4 pick swaps. So they're basically going to have 8 years of pretty good draft picks, first-round draft picks. They acquired who's the player that they acquired? I'm blanking. Well, so where did Oladipo go? Oh, my God.
The Rockets. Oh, God. Okay, I'm taking over.
Yeah, you
The
take
Rockets got Oladipo, the 8 draft picks. The Nets got James Harden and a second rounder.
Yeah.
The Pacers got Karis LeVert because they traded is a 3-way trade, and then the Rockets immediately traded Karis LeVert over to the Pacers for Oladipo.
Yep.
And then the Cavaliers got Jarrett Allen and
Torian Prince.
from the Nets. So the Nets gave up 3 very important role players, 2 of which are very, very important. We got a 6th man. We have their best defensive player, their anchor at center, and they're going to be rolling out DeAndre Jordan for the rest of the year. And they added James Harden, and they traded away 8. Man, they gave up a lot. They gave up a lot compared to like what the Lakers gave up to get Davis. It's kind of ridiculous.
Yeah. Lakers gave up a lot, too. A lot of picks, pick-wise. But this
Not
was
8
quite a
picks.
bit.
Didn't give up 8 picks.
No, not 8. I don't know what the hell the Cavs are doing. I saw somebody in the chat say, like, Allen to the Cavs is huge. The idea is Sexland is going to team up with Allen, and they're going to dump Drummond. But Drummond has been playing his ass off this year. So, I don't know. I guess they're in a rebuild mode. Kevin Love's supposed to be leaving town soon as well.
4 picks and 4 swaps. So let's talk about the Nets. Let's just get into it.
Yep.
The Nets obviously now have 3 of the best scorers in the league, probably 3 of the top, 5, 10 scorers in the entire NBA. Also 3 of the highest usage rate guys. I was watching a video today that pointed out that just based on the season averages that those 3 guys have currently, obviously this will have to shake out differently, but they have like the highest top 3 scoring averages for a team in NBA history by like 15 points. Like they average like 80-something points. Obviously that's going to change. Their usage rate, as it is today, would be the highest of all time for the top 3 players. It's going to be the greatest experiment we've ever watched in the history of sports.
Yeah. So, one theory. So shout out to Frankie, who said earlier today, we have to always keep in mind there's only one basketball on the court at any given time. And so here's the glass half full, is that James Harden can do his thing for the first 44 minutes of the game. And then you have KD, who's well known as a good closer, can take over in the end. So, is it going to be possible to strike that balance? On the other hand, you have, 3 guys. So look, when Kevin Durant is, the voice of reason and the humble guy and, the guy who's keeping everybody sane, that now all of a sudden, I don't know. I think the whole equilibrium goes out of whack there.
I think I read that. Well, I read as the trade was happening and everything that Stephen A. Smith was like, Kyrie needs to retire, and there's reports that he may not come back at all this year, and now all of a sudden he's going to play tomorrow. I wonder what changed. Now it was you got off your stance on sitting out for political reasons and personal reasons, even though you were seen partying. Now all of a sudden that you got Harden, okay, now you're going to come back for Saturday and everything's good to go and we're fine. I never had beef with Steve Nash. We've been fine this whole time. Dude, there's no way that team gets through this season unscathed with drama. There's just all of them they just love the drama. It's crazy.
I can't believe it happened so fast. I can't believe Kyrie had already disappeared only a few weeks into the season. I thought it would have taken a lot longer than that for something bizarre like that to happen, and it didn't take long at all. So I think we're just seeing the tip of the iceberg here. I think we're going to see all types of craziness happen.
But to be fair, the ceiling for those guys is really high, right? If it plays perfectly, if Durant is the alpha and Durant can, play some defense, we've seen him play great defense at an elite level. If Harden can be, I'm trying to figure out who does what. I'm going on the fly here, but if Harden is the distributor and kind of maybe the primary ball handler, Kyrie is the, he plays the Robin like he did to LeBron. It could work perfectly, and they could just score 130 points a game and just light the league up and be this amazing dynamic team. Even if all that goes right, I'm just not seeing it. I'm not seeing the defense. That's a huge question mark, and I'm not. Nobody's talking about their complete loss of depth. Are we just gonna assume that 3 players can win you games by themselves? You need depth. You need dude, DeAndre Jordan had a DNP coach's decision 4 days ago, and now he's their only big man. How's that supposed to work?
Yeah, I think Yamwax makes a good point. He said, well, they're going to need to have a rotation. Dude, James Harden maybe needs to go back to the bench, but go back to that 6-man role that he had in Oklahoma City.
No chance.
No chance.
They lost their best bench scorer. They lost their best rim protector and defender, and then they lost one of their best wing defenders. I'm just not seeing it.
All right, what do you think's going on in the James Harden card market right now? I know what's going on because I saw it yesterday. I don't know if you looked or not yet.
Is it up?
Yes.
Yeah, I've seen people post all their James Harden cards are coming out of the woodwork now. What's his Topps Chrome rookie PSA 10? Is that going up?
I don't think I saw that sell yet. Maybe it did today. But so the PSA 9, a week ago, it was $330. All right. A week ago, it was $330. Yesterday, it sold for $550. Card basically doubled on the Nets news. Oh, and by the way, oh my God, this is how many times it sold yesterday.
Yeah.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. That's crazy. That's probably the most times this card's ever sold on a single day.
Yeah, of course.
14 times.
Oh, I don't know, man. I mean, the hobby likes to react to news and just sort of like make money and sell cards on the news. It's fine, you know, it's expected, I guess. It's going to be awesome, dude. I don't even care one way or the other if it works or it doesn't, because it's just going to be fun to watch.
Yeah, and it's clearly captivated the media. It's clearly captivated sports media. Oh, let's get that fly swatter out of the shot. So, yeah, it's an interesting storyline. Do you think the Nets can win the East? Let's make our predictions. You know, we haven't seen this unit play a game. Nobody can hold it against us. But can the Nets win the East?
First, I want to start by saying, just to back up just a little bit, the NBA is the best sport, market, league, whatever you want to call it, for this sort of like drama around the actual game itself. They're just so good at it. And it's obviously a lot because of like their stars and the individual marketing of players. And when they move, it's just like, dude, the media went absolutely bananas over all this stuff. And it's just been fascinating to watch. It's way more coverage than the games. To answer your question, I'm picking the Bucks to win the East. I just love what they've done this season, and I love sort of the quiet nature they've gone about their business this year. They have the highest plus-minus in the entire league right now, again. Giannis has improved again. His free throw shooting has got to get better. It's so annoying. But I like that they're just sort of to me right now, the Bucks are just putting their heads down. They're sort of blocking out the noise of all this other garbage, and they're going to come ready to play some basketball in the playoffs. And they're not going to care about all this like hype around this super team crap. They've got depth. They've got an MVP, 2 back-to-back MVP. They've got the best on-ball, the perimeter defender in the NBA in Drew Holiday. They've got a great second player in Chris Middleton. They've got yet another year of maturity from their horrible losses the last couple of years. That kind of stuff hardens you, man. Those 3 dudes in New Jersey and Brooklyn, they don't have any of that shit together. They have no idea how to win and lose games together. They have no clue. They barely even know each other, dude. The Bucks have been through it, just like the Bulls, just like the Heat, just like the LeBron teams, the Kobe teams. All these teams go through pain. You can't just put 3 dudes together on a court and hope to win. You got to go through some failures.
Yeah. All right. You got the Bucks winning the East. I'll tell you this. The East has gotten pretty good here. The East has gotten pretty good. You got 76ers, who, when they're not suffering under COVID protocols and everybody's healthy, I think they could beat any other team in the East in 7. The Raptors have fallen off, but you never know what can happen to them. Bucks are obviously extremely good. And Heat have to be in the discussion too, even though they're off to kind of a slow start. They have injury stuff going on. The chat wants me to say 76ers. I'm going to do this. I'm going to say, okay, here's the thing I've seen. I really hate this Harden trade for the Nets. I thought they were well positioned before they took Harden.
I did too. I did too.
So I wanted to see the Nets, I saw games where the Nets were losing by 20 going into the fourth quarter, and Durant just took over in the way that just those great vets can do. And there's very few guys in the league who can do that.
Make a pick, damn it. What are you doing? Let's go.
I'm taking the Nets.
Oh, God, are you kidding me? God, here we are in this, well thought out, calm, rational show, and you're fucking picking the Nets?
I got to, man. I have to.
Why?
Because I just think that Kevin Durant is going to be able to make up for the BS. And
this is great, man. This is awesome. Now we got some fucking competition. This is great.
I'm taking the Nets. I'm just doing it.
Do it.
I'm doing it for the people.
Someone in the chat pointed out Giannis is off to a bad start. and they're still the best plus minus in the entire NBA. Wait till Giannis gets it going, which he will, because he had a short offseason. Giannis will be fine.
No, it's different too because Giannis had a slow December, but in January he's averaging like 29, 10, and 9. So
also, can we talk about the Pacers, dude? I really like what the Pacers are doing right now. I watched the entire Pacers-Warriors game the other night because I told you I wanted to learn. I need to start watching these games, and we need to start doing that. Pacers look good, man. They look real good. They've got balance. They've got defense. They've got perimeter shooting. They've got Brogdon, who's a great point guard. They've got Sabonis, who's a bona fide stud. They added LeVert. I like the Pacers right now.
I like the Pacers too. I like the addition of LeVert. I like the removal of Oladipo. He was not meshing well with that team. Sabonis is a low-key fourth-place MVP vote if he keeps playing the way he's playing. And what are they, 8-4 now? They're just quietly winning games. They're winning close games. They're beating good teams. They got better. Their best players got better. They have a new coach. A lot to like there. A lot to like with the Pacers. I totally agree.
Miles Turner's playing really good.
That's a big one, too, because that guy's always had such a high ceiling relative to how well he played.
That Warriors, they had two guys. I literally can't even – I don't even know their names right now, but they kept, like, finishing at the rim really well. God, someone help me with Pacers, but they had two guys who just, like, I've never even heard of these dudes, and they're finishing at the rim. They're passing. They're unselfish. I know that stuff, will wear down in the playoffs, and it's just really going to come down to, like, the superstars like it always does. So, to me, it's going to come down to, is Giannis going to take that next step in the playoffs and figure out how to score the ball in a different way? Is the offense going to adapt to the way that they play or defended against? Are the Nets going to mesh as a threesome? Or is Ben Simmons and Embiid going to take the next step? This is what it's going to come down to. We all know, are these top dudes going to – which of the top dudes is going to excel? And last year it was the Heat because Butler stepped up and the rest of the team played well. And the Lakers because they had LeBron and AD. Like, it's just – it always comes down to that.
Dude, that's why, I like the Nets because you have KD. And, man, that's just having him is going to be extremely powerful when it comes to those big moments. And then let me tell you something else. That Bucks game today, when the game was on the line, Giannis on the back-to-back possessions, Giannis did not touch the ball. Chris Middleton shot 1-3, beautiful shot, impressive shot. And then next possession, Chris Middleton comes down, shoots another 3, kills it, ISO. So I need to see that out of Giannis myself as well, is that he can be a guy that you can go to in crunch time. So,
dude, totally. I mean, to me, it's at the point now where, like, I was the guy that was critical of Giannis, but now there's so much criticism and people are like, I'm sensing that people are sort of moving away from him. Now I'm like, bro, highest PER of all time. Like, come on. Let's not get crazy here.
No, he's incredible. I'm on that boat with Lamar Jackson. I thought everybody was too high in Lamar last year, and now everybody completely turned on him. And I'm like, nope, the answer has always been in between those two.
Yeah, Giannis isn't – he's not KD and he's not LeBron, but he's also not a bum.
Definitely not a bum. Definitely not a bum. Okay, can we talk about this for a second? Because
I'm definitely talking about that.
This ties into cards a lot.
Okay.
So Lefko says not enough people are talking about the fact that LeBron is going to win his 5th title. Yeah, dude, you're right about that. Everyone is so focused on where's James Harden playing and how many pick swaps did Houston get and who's going to win MVP, Luka or Giannis. And nobody is paying attention to the elephant in the room, which is that the Lakers, by all the smart basketball people I listen to, believe they are even better than they were last year. As card collectors, I think you want to think about what's going to be the ramifications of that happening. And what's going to be the ramifications, what will be the narrative going into next season. Okay? Then number 6 is on the line. So let's just think about that a little bit, okay? Maybe the chat can chime in on what this means.
Every time LeBron doesn't tear his groin, he's in the finals. I don't know how many times he's got to do it for you guys to understand. I'm all about seeing the same thing. I'm all about sample size and seeing it over and 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 over. The guy has done it like 100,000 times. Get with it or get out.
Yeah. And look, the West got worse. So let's talk about the West. Denver.
Clippers. Dude, Denver, come on.
Denver, who already lost to the Lakers in 5 last year, they lost Jeremy Grant. And if there's any doubt about how good Jeremy Grant is and how much he meant to that team, look at what he's doing for Detroit this year. He's like their best player.
Yep.
So Denver got worse, although Jokic might have gotten better. Jokic is, according to Impact Metrics, the best player in the league so far. You look at the Clippers. Clippers might have marginally gotten a little bit better by bringing in Ibaka, but they also have a new coach, and I don't know if the chemistry issues have been solved at all. And Paul George is playing really, really well right now.
Yeah, he is.
So is that sustainable? What's going to be the average for them?
Yeah, it's going to come down to Paul George stepping up in the playoffs and Kawhi. It's going to come down to, is Davis going to take the next step, and is their bench going to actually, Harrell and Schroeder and all these guys, are those guys going to prove their value in the playoffs? It's the same thing every fucking year. Like, playoffs get here, things get tight. Are the superstars who you count on going to step up, or are they going to Paul George the backboard? That's the question.
Okay, and then what's the other? So Houston can't really be considered a threat anymore.
They're out. Jazz, maybe?
Right. I don't Jazz are off to a weird start.
They pounded the juggernaut tonight. They pounded the Hawks, the juggernaut.
True. That is a notch in the belt. I feel like the West has a bunch of teams, when you go from like Portland, Denver, Dallas, Utah, all these teams are like, just above 500 teams. Golden State. Maybe some of these teams even in 80, I know we have a 72-game season, but like in an 82-game season, some of these teams are maybe 50 and 32s, and other ones are, around that area. So I just feel like the West got worse. And Phoenix is good, but and Chris Paul makes it seem real, but I don't know how sustainable that is either. And, and man, where'd the Devin Booker hype go? Man, all I could hear about going into this season was Devin Booker.
Devin Booker was the most overrated sports card in the world going into this year. And I'm a Suns fan, so like, come on.
Yeah. Well, pop quiz to the chat. What do you think a Devin Booker Prism Silver PSA 10 goes for?
So yeah, tell us. Like, you're kind of joking, but like, has his stuff gone down?
I don't know if it's gone down. Okay, the silver took a turn. So, can we get some guesses on what a silver PSA 10 is going for? 8K, 3K. Okay. That's a range.
Probably like 6 and 7.
So, it's going for, it last sold for 6. Prediction is 4. The last sale was on January 11th, so obviously the prediction is a little bit low. Let's see what his base chart looks like. So, yeah, there's been a tailing off here as well. The base going into the season was about $1,300. Now it's about a grand. Not a huge drop-off. That's pretty much what all the young players have seen, to be honest with you.
Yeah. Up and down.
Up and down indeed. So, yeah, I just don't think the West is all that scary for the Lakers.
I still think the Clippers, obviously the Clippers have enough top-end talent, and their ceiling is high enough where they could definitely challenge the Lakers and make it interesting.
Yeah.
Kawhi's been there, done that. Paul George is obviously a great player. They have depth. They have Ibaka. They have Lou Williams. They added some nice pieces in Batum and Kennard. Zubac is still there.
Dude, they so underuse Zubac. That guy tears people up. And they don't even – last I checked, he isn't even on the floor during the final 5 minutes of the game. I can't believe that he doesn't get so much more burn. And you know what? The Lakers had him, and the Lakers let him go for nothing. That guy is so underrated. If that guy – they just need to put that guy on the floor.
The Lakers are so deep, it's obnoxious. They're like 11 deep. They got like Talen Horton-Tucker like for free basically this year, and he's like having these moments where he's playing great. And they got Morris is like their worst player.
He's not there to be good at basketball anyway. He's there to be a POS.
Markieff Morris, Kuzma, Harrell, Schroeder. God, they're so deep. It's a Gasol. It's obnoxious. But obviously it's going to come down to the top 2 guys anyways.
Yeah. Yep. Yes, it will.
Jared Dudley. Can you lead the beginning of the next thing? I got to the bathroom.
Yeah. Somebody else was asking about a card here. Job buying opportunity. Ja Morant's market, it didn't really do – first of all, I don't know if you guys seen the reports. Morant is questionable for their next game. So Morant might be back even before we thought he would be back. So if there was a window – okay, yeah, there's a drop-off here for Morant. So Morant peaked here in late December at about 800 on his PSA 10. Now it's going for about 600. So I don't know. That could be a buying opportunity. David says Morant was questionable even today. So, yeah, and you just got to ask yourself, so what's the Grizzlies' record right now? Like, are the Grizzlies lining themselves up to be a competitor here? Are they going to win games? And what the hell is their record? What do you think about Morant right now, Josh?
He hasn't played in a few weeks, right?
Yeah, but he's going to be coming back here pretty soon. The Grizzlies are 5-6.
No real reaction. I hope he comes back and plays well. He's exciting.
Okay.
I like him. I'm not going to pretend he's something he's not at this point. Like he's a second-year player trying to get better.
Yeah, that's about right.
I'm ready for my rant whenever you give me the floor.
Let's go. Let's go with the rant.
I've cleared my system and I'm ready to go.
All right, let's go. Let me get the popcorn out. Let's do this.
All right, my rant. I mean, we've sort of like led up to it in the first hour and stuff, but like my rant is on humility and how just like the blatant lack of humility from a lot of people on Instagram is just like really pissing me off lately. Just have some goddamn humility. Like stop posting the same card 10 days in a row. Stop commenting every time there's a comp on a card you own where you're pumping up the comp and getting all excited and then immediately following it with like, oh, I own one, just so you know. Well, no shit, you own one. You wouldn't have posted the fucking comp if you didn't. And also, like, someone will make a post about, like, what do you guys think is undervalued? And it's just littered with comments of stuff that we know you own. Like, it's just not the spirit of the post. It's not the spirit of the hobby. And, like, everyone is Warren Buffett right now. We've said this so many times, but, like, dude, everyone is making money right now. We all know it. Like, we're all making money. We're all having fun. Everything's up. We're all excited. But have some goddamn humility. Like, enjoy this for sure. Have fun with it. Take your profits. Enjoy life. Have fun. But do it with some humility, you know? And the other side of this is, like, because things are so easy right now, everyone's Warren Buffett and everything's so easy right now.
Well, you think that's Warren Buffett. That's me, actually.
That's just put the Lameem James picture over him or some sort of, like, meme over it. Yeah, everyone's so smart right now, but, like, take that and, like, move forward with it and take that knowledge you've learned and how you've made money and, like, just be humble with it. I don't know how else to say it, man. It's just bothering me. Like, I just feel like every other post that I see, I'm just like cringing with. Is anyone collecting cards anymore? That's my question. Is anyone collecting, or is everyone just like hyping up their investments that they've made money on? Everyone is making money right now. Everyone. Every card is up. All cards are up. The hobby is exploding. I don't need to see you like hyping up the stuff you've made money on. We've all made money. Have fun, collect, be humble. These are traits that, I don't know, man. Oh, we need to do Top Shot.
Yeah. Well, but I do just want to let that sink in for a second, because
wasn't as coherent as I thought. I'm sort of rambling at this point, so you can save me.
every time I think I'm going to make a nice rant, it just turns into a ramble as well. Or at least I feel like it does. But I thought yours was very coherent. And the common thread there to me is that it's very natural to be excited and, to want to show off success. And we all celebrate each other's success. There's no doubt about that. But pro tip that Josh just laid out, one terrific way to make a great impression on the hobby and a way to stand out is to conduct yourself with humility. And you will find, I think, over time that you're going to make a lot better hobby relationships, and you're going to enjoy your time a lot more, and you're going to be confronting people a lot less if you just kind of humbly go about your business, share your cards, share your enthusiasm, but don't get caught up in the rat race of my card went up more and look at my pile. And it's very short-sighted.
My IG mimics what I'm talking about? Bro, I post my cards the fucking day I get them one time. One time. I post the card I get, just like Chris does, just like Stephen Go does. When you get a new card, you post it, you get all excited, you show everybody what you got, and you move on. And the stories that I post are about bringing the hobby together, passing along information, advice, things that I see in the hobby. I'm not fucking posting the same card 50 times every single day on my stories. Are you kidding me? You want me to post my LeBron RPA every other day? Every time there's a new Topps Chrome card that sells, you want me to be like, oh, you guys are on the Topps Chrome game. I bet you didn't know that Exquisite's 100 times better, and you should be spending all your money on Exquisite. Everybody buy the Exquisite stuff that I have. Give me a break.
Yeah.
Flexing 60. Bro, I post the cards that I have one time. One time. I've seen people post their 101 Mahomes card fucking 100 times every other day. Top Shot time?
Top Shot time. Yeah. Yeah, I think
okay. Do I need to explain it, or do you?
Well, hold on. I pulled up the website here.
All right, I'll explain it. Basically, it's actually it's officially licensed by the NBA Players Association. So it's not like it's just some like goofballs making some weird thing. But basically, the NBA Players Association has licensed this product where this startup company, I'm sure they've done other things in the past, but they're creating these like clips. They're like on the blockchain. So they're like digestible pieces that you own, and it's like a clip of some play in the NBA, and you can buy them. And they're actually limited, right, to a certain number, and they're limited based upon how iconic the moment is. So like the bigger moments are like more rare. There'll be like 49 of them or 99 of them. So it's kind of similar to cards. I'm trying to take the unbiased like explanation approach to it, but it's like, it's kind of like the crypto of sports cards. So it's kind of similar to like blockchain, but there's not like the blockchain Panini cards, where they're releasing like the singles of the blockchain cards. It's like that, but they're YouTube clips. I mean, but the difference is like the NBA licenses these videos. So like you literally own like the actual licensed product of the clip to try to like be fair about this. Did I miss anything?
No, I thought that was a very fair summary. As you were talking, we were browsing the marketplace. So here's a John Morant dunk from December 11th, 2019. Legendary. It's numbered to 49. Apparently the lowest ask is $28,000. what the hell is this? I can watch it now?
But you own it.
I think I just paid $28,000.
I mean, come on, dude. You can look at other people's cards on Instagram. Do you own those? You know, so like there's
Yes, I do.
like
Yes, I do. I own all those.
you can be a little bit more optimistic about the idea.
Yeah. So, oh, the fly swatter made it in again. So okay, yeah. So crypto obviously is a very real thing, very real store of value and whatnot. So why the hell not have an NBA crypto? I get that. And people like looking at clips of stuff. So why the hell not? We were talking to David, and like the topic came up of, do you think there could be like a Top Shot ladder one day? And I thought about it. I was like, man, that'd be kind of cool. Oh, wait, it already exists. It's called YouTube. So I just don't know what I just honestly I don't get it. I think that's the starting off point here. I don't understand this. I watch NBA games. Like I literally watched 3 hours of it. So I mean, I think I'm a multi-millionaire in this realm right now. So I can't really figure out why people are buying stuff for this. So Lefko says Top Shot had 2,100 buyers.
$2 million.
Over $2 million alone today.
Yeah.
So there you go.
That's more than sports cards, right?
It's more than we track in an average day.
I mean, I'm trying to be in the middle on this. I'm trying to bring reason to it. I think it's ridiculous. I think it's insane. It's so stupid. Please don't do it. But I'm trying to find a lane where it makes sense, and I'm struggling. I
think the crypto thing makes sense.
I think it's more the NBA licenses it, like, because you technically just can't post like highlights of the NBA games without having their consent, and this is actually like getting a licensed product, and it's like it's like buying a licensed NBA card. You have consent to buy this thing, and it's licensed properly, so that helps. But yeah, you're buying YouTube clips, And the scary thing though here, Chris, is that like with sports cards, I can't just like go get more 52 Manals. That there's a limited supply. They were printed in 1952. That's the end of it. Whereas this kind of stuff, so like if these guys are smart and they see that people are spending $20,000 on a 1 of 49 clip. If there's a clip that happens in the future, say in the next week or so, and they're like, bro, we're literally printing money. Let's make 149 of this clip. Let's make 349. Let's make fucking 1,000, 2,000. Let's make 5,000 of these. They control the supply to an infinite amount. That's the part that's scary.
Yeah, I think that's dude, look. I think it's a very reasonable concern or point of view. And we, as startup people ourselves, do not knock anybody trying to build a startup at all. We just have questions. Lefko said I should buy a pack, and I will if I can figure out how to do it. Or can you figure out how to do it? Can you do it? Maybe can you figure out on that computer, and then I'll come over there. Get a $9 pack, and
do you think people are gonna come around to it? Because like I feel like people are coming around to the collectible stuff and like the fractional shares of cards. Like people are starting to come around to it, and we're kind of like get off my lawn right now because it's new, and maybe we'll like 5 years from now we might be like, oh my gosh, why didn't we see this?
I've seen evidence that people like this stuff because Christina's younger brother, I was visiting with him maybe a year or two ago. And he was showing me how in Madden you get these packs, and like he was just having a total blast with it. And we actually like brought some Prism blasters over, and he like thought those were kind of cool, but like he was super into the Madden packs. Yeah, exactly. These 2K packs and stuff.
It's part of the culture, man. I don't know. It just like Yeah, David pointed out there's a lot of smart people that we know that are in it. But the thing that worries me, dude, is that like it feels like people are buying it because they feel like they can sell it for more in the future versus like I really want this stuff. Whereas with cards, I was talking to you earlier about like someone like Bob Amtrak. He's got make you can make up a number in the millions of how much he's got in cards, and the dude isn't selling, right? Like his goal isn't to sell that stuff. He actually wants to keep it in his he wants to keep it in his collection, and he likes it, and he likes looking at it and holding it. Whereas this feels way more speculative in that people are only buying it with the assumption of making money, similar to like Bitcoin in the stock market, where it's like there's no actual tangible physical value. You're only buying it with the prospect of making money, which that makes me nervous, especially considering that we don't control the supply.
Yeah, and this is one of those like borderline things to me where I get why I see how this is similar to cards and it relates to NBA.
Yeah.
And it's all kind of in a broad category grouped together, but like it's nothing that jumps out at me and like brings me in as something that I'm super excited about right away. So like it just does, that's just the honest take on it. But okay, what we can say good things too. It's clearly a success at this point in time. And the website looks great, and there's serious, smart people behind it. So you got all those factors going for you. But for me, if I have $28,000 to spend, am I going to buy a video clip of Ja Morant, or am I going to go buy a Grail that I've wanted for 20 years? I just feel like that's a no-brainer.
Yeah.
Yeah, see, I think this comment right here is extremely interesting. This is from Collectible Fund. Oh, damn, I pinned it, and I can't see the whole thing. Hold on, I need to unpin it.
Hit it more.
Yeah, I know, I was trying. Okay, all right, they said there's a massive reflation going on. Anything that can realistically absorb the excess liquidity is doing that. So people are trying to find any and all categories that can work for that, and I think that's right. I think that, and I would add on that I think sports cards had this like amazing organic momentum, and now creative people are seeing if they can recreate it in similar veins, but then they can be in the ground floor, and then they can be there on day one. And
I think it's got.
nothing wrong with that.
I think it's got good execution though. Like I feel like the actual presentation of it and the execution has been really good. They did a nice job. Whoever created it, like the experience was enjoyable. So I like the tech of it. I like the presentation. I like the marketing. I think it's extremely speculative. So if you're debating, to buy that or like an MJ Fleer, I'd definitely go for like the history of the cards. Yeah, there's a lot of money behind it, guys. It's definitely not fake. It's real. I'm just nervous about it. As like the common man, the mailman, firefighter scenario. I don't know that I'd be dumping my 401k into this right now.
Well, so like one thing that appeals to me would be, hey, look, like what if I had this collection of MJ's best moments? Because when I enjoy cards, if I pull out the MJ PC, naturally I start getting nostalgic for some of MJ's greatest plays. And so what if I have this wallet or this safe, this digital safe of like all these stored video clips? That'd be really cool. But then I don't need to pay $28,000 to get those video clips. I can just go make them myself.
I know, but it's like, you can like enjoy the MJ Green PMG on social media, but like as someone that actually can say they own it, it's different.
Yeah, it is, but the ownership thing has like a legacy in sports cards. Like the ownership thing goes back to those things coming out of packs of Metal Universe in the late 90s, and like that was built upon 80s Topps and Fleer, and that was built upon 50s Topps and Bowman, and that was built upon T206 and all that. I mean, there's just so much history and legacy there to support that. And it's owning a physical item that, like you were saying, has a very limited, a very fixed supply. So
Yeah, I'm just trying to play devil's advocate and trying to make sense of it a little bit.
no, that's good. Did you buy the pack? This is for you, Lefko.
Oh, you bought a pack?
We bought a pack. How much was this pack?
Basically $10.
You spent $10 on this pack?
You told me to.
I know.
You're about to get Trae Young like turnovers right now.
Oh my god, give me the joke.
Oh shit!
Is that a clip? You get like a Trae Young turnover? Common. Oh, what the fuck? Oh, give me a break, man. There's like a million of these. Are you kidding me? This is like a regular dude hitting a three.
4,000. So the serial number is to 4,000.
Oh my god, you just got ripped off.
What do you mean, bro? We're getting
I
rich.
put it on the corporate account, Josh. So.
Dude, I mean,
We are not card letter now as an investor.
dude, there's gonna be breaks of this stuff. You know that, right?
Yeah, this is the first break of Top Shot right here. Brought to
You're
you
not even
by
getting
Letter
good
Break.
players. Oh my god.
Dude,
Is the pinnacle of the best clip of all time the Jordan shot over Byron Russell?
7,500.
hopefully. I don't know. Okay, so that was our first two cards.
All right.
Jordan Jazz, come on.
Better be
98.
Luka dunking on LeBron.
That clip doesn't exist.
Siakam layup.
On January 2nd. 7,000 out of 7,500.
Dude, there's going to be breaking channels around this stuff. You know that, right? People are going to be breaking this and like making channels.
I could see it.
You just got destroyed, right? Those were bad.
Yeah.
I mean, oh shit.
Dude, Card Ladder is a steal right now. $15 a month and you get like a whole month's worth of data. You just spent $10 on like watching 3 YouTube clips.
Dude, I like that. That's my favorite take so far.
Give me a break. I'm not trying to like we really don't pump Card Ladder that much on this show as much as we possibly could, but dude, you just watched 3 YouTube clips of regular ass dudes making jump shots and you spent $10. There's 7,500. There's like tons of them.
What's the difference between that and watching Sports Center?
Look at what the chat just said. Is that Siakam for sale? IPC Siakam clips.
Let's go. Look, hit me on the DM. Show me what the comps are, obviously.
Everything's for sale, guys.
I'll come 10% under comps.
Dude. Much respect for that. I like how people are like for real. I'm honestly not criticizing anyone, so take this as a laughter. But people in the chat are like, "Yo, you can open packs. I want to try that."
Dude, it wasn't that bad, to be honest with you. The experience was pretty cool. I paid $15 to go look at a movie back in the day when we had real world activities.
But that was like a 2-hour event. That was like 20 seconds. Oh, we got to do another.
Yeah, we'll hop back on.
I made it to baller status. I'm a street baller, according to Top Shot.
Chris can't drop.
Yeah,
Let's go. You said 10 seconds?
a minute left. We got a minute. So, yeah, we'll come back for a third hour, guys.
Chris got drop. Oh, you fucking idiot. All right. I don't know what else to say about it. Well, are we doing another hour or 30 minutes at least or something?
Yeah.
Cool.
All right. Okay, we're coming right back. So,
can you grade that stuff?
you could use a computer to grade it. We could have AI grading. So,
well, I run PSA and those are all 9s.
All right, we'll be back.
Yo.
What's up, dude? This gaming chair is legit. Whoever just asked about that.
Your gaming chair?
Yeah, this gaming chair. It's only like a $200 chair, though. We really should have gone harder on the chairs, but
So what's like the benefit of that? Like ergonomically, is it better for your back and like you feel better?
Yeah, it's like it's basically like a chair that you can sit in for like 10 hours and like not feel your ass go numb. But there's also a like a head neck pillow and a lumbar pillow on the chair that's movable so that you can like sit comfortably all day staring at these large monitors we have.
I can attest to someone that sits in a fucking chair for 12 hours a day.
Yeah.
Like, no joke. That was the other part of my rant that I didn't get to, which is like a lot of people are making so much money right now and they're not really doing that much work. And they just think that like, oh, if I just put in like a little bit of work, I'm going to make a lot of money and that'll just be sustainable. When the reality is like the people who are actually super successful that you see are putting in tons and tons and tons of work behind the scenes, and it's not pretty, like ugly work.
Great point. Great point. Do you want to do a compare and contrast? Open one of these packs and see how they stack up against each other.
Wait, I have to open a fucking electronic pack and you get to open a real pack?
Do you want to open this pack?
Yes.
Well, come the fuck over here then.
He's like, I'll show you.
I've never seen her move this fast. Go.
You guys can't see it, but I'm giving him bitch face right now.
Do this. You're a breaker, so let's. Yep, there we go. Look at that.
Look at that.
Terry McLaurin. Sam Darnold.
I'm gonna go get another drink.
All right.
Josh is like, I can't even watch this.
Too much pack opening. Mike Williams. Josh Allen. Devontae Adams, best wide receiver in the game, perhaps.
I got a shiny.
Who we got?
T. Higgins.
T. Higgins. So we got a
Disco
Bill
Mosaic.
Huddle, Disco T. Higgins rookie card. Hello PSA. Jake or who is that?
Jacob Eason.
Eason. Okay.
Debut. And Zach Moss.
Zach Moss. All right. There you go. Okay. Well, so that was a compare and contrast. Yep, you're dismissed.
Yeah, I like the packs better. Like the cardboard.
The cardboard packs.
Definitely.
And there was no beat playing as we did that.
Yeah, you didn't pull any Derek Jones dunks, did you?
What's that?
You didn't pull any Derek Jones dunks.
No, we didn't. No, we didn't. This is what we got here. So, comparing the visceral or the sensory experience, no noise. Well, I guess you have the pack ripping, but no beat plays in the background. But the smell of the cards, I wasn't able to smell those videos. So I think we're gonna have to score that one 1-1. They aren't animated, right? Can't see T. Higgins scoring a touchdown, but I can hold it in my hand. And it's part of a legacy that's been around for hundreds of years, which is cards. So
I'd rather have a no-name corner 3. I don't even know who that guy was. I already forgot. The guy on the Wizards?
Yeah, Avdiha, the new rookie.
Okay, at least it's a rookie clip.
Rookie. Yep. I think we're just going to set those aside and then retire in 10 years.
You guys should start posting it on your Instagrams every day.
Yeah. I will, and talk about how undervalued they are and
right.
Show the comps. And
I'm surprised people haven't started talking about how undervalued Top Shot clips are. Coming up.
What sells for $30, Carvin?
Invest in the clips we all love. Profit from the clips we all love.
Carvin says the Denny sells for $30.
it's listed now. One's for sale for 25, and one's listed for 100.
Okay.
You can sell them? There's a marketplace to sell them?
Sounds like there's like an instant marketplace.
Wow, you can turn that $9 into 30 real quick.
Yeah. Who the hell is paying $30?
Well, I mean, if you buy all 4,000, does that mean the NBA can never use that clip again because you own the IP of it?
I mean, obviously.
I do think like that is an important question.
Yeah.
Because like, if I can just go look at that clip on YouTube, then
I can sue every time. I could put copyright infringement on YouTube every time and be like, no, it's not the NBA, it's me. I own it. I'm getting a finger wag.
Well, they own the 7,501st copy that you don't know about.
True. So, Christine and I, during the little break, were thinking about starting a new channel, YouTube channel dedicated to sports clip investing. So we're learning the market, and we just invite you all to join us on our journey to profit from the sports clips that we all love. And then we'll talk about the top 5 clips
from the day
that are going up.
Which was your favorite clip that you pulled today?
Live from our lake house.
Dude, if you guys can save up enough clips and you sell them, you can eventually buy a credenza or a fucking, used car or a coffee table. The options are limited.
Coffee table for sure.
We all love it.
Yeah, I don't know, dude. I don't get the clips thing, but I'll tell you what'll make people buy into it and what'll make it work. If people open up packs on there and then they go onto a marketplace and they can sell a Denny Avdija, for 3 times what the cost of the pack was, they're gonna come back and open another pack. It's a slot machine. It's just literally a slot machine.
Carbon says the place takes 5%.
It's a slot machine. And dude, the crazy thing that people maybe don't think about too much, but like Vegas, Top Shot, NBA, they are literally printing money. It's a hose faucet that they turn on high that makes them more money than they ever. It's ridiculous. They're making so much. $2 million today? How much of that do you think the NBA made in profit? Just straight profit. Dude, it's like digital. It's on autopilot. There's no fucking resources being put into it anymore. They're printing money.
I think that's an excellent point.
They made $1 million. Conservatively, they made $1 million today in profit.
Yeah, that's a terrific point. I would love, is there anybody in the chat besides Christina and I who have bought something on Top Shots and would like to talk about it or explain what they like about it?
The NBA gets royalty 20%. The startup that made those clips is getting money. The NBA is getting money. Yeah, the NBA has to pay for Otto Porter. Ain't that the truth? The license agreement alone.
Carter said he bought packs. That's what's up.
Marketing expenses. I don't know, man. I feel like they're printing money. They could just see that there's 7,500 of them and be like, oh, like you guys like this? We're just gonna make 10,000 on the next one. It's like literally just like 2,500 times 10. You just made more money because you printed more and you convinced everyone that printing more was better. This is like how Panini works too. Panini, there's a correlation to Panini blockchain cards where they're selling the singles direct to customers and they're just literally printing money.
Correct.
Like we just invented this card called the Zion Blockchain Logo Man, horizontal, flawless, 1 of 1, superfractor. and and they sold it direct to a customer for $80,000. They just made $80,000.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how to feel about this topic. I mean, we've gone back and forth. We've looked at it from a number of different angles. We actually we demoed the product. So I think at this point we just kind of let it sink in and see what we think. But I don't know, Christina might need to hide my wallet from me so I don't go on a buying spree.
It's a slot machine. There's 3 of them. It's like literally like a slot machine. You're right. There's 3 things that dangle, and it's a slot machine.
It is. And
people are going to spend $10 to get a bunch of garbage.
and gambling is, I just want to know where the real clip collectors out there who just love these clips. And
the collectors?
Just do it for the pure love of the clip. And
Project 2020 of the dark web.
Look, we gave it a good shot, and we've had some fun with it. But let's see how it plays out, dude. They did over $2 million. I mean, wow, that's pretty damn impressive. So
yeah, don't hate the player.
Maybe we need to be making pitches to the people who are buying these and telling them, "Do you guys know about sports cards?"
Yeah, I think we need to make a clip ladder.
Clip ladder. Do they have anything like charting tech tools over there?
I don't know. I should fucking close that shit right quick.
You said you had something for hour 2. Do you have any like burning topic? Do you collect these clips?
Who collects these clips?
Shay collects them.
Shay probably sitting on Shay's probably a clip millionaire, just sitting on big time clips.
I'll clip some of my hair off. You guys want some of that?
All right. Yeah, there's a lot of topics. I don't know how the hell to segue into anything after this experience.
You're still just like, I fucking want to go buy more packs. That's what you're thinking right now.
I'm just trying to think about how I can move money over into my account so I can just start buying
this. The Luka 3-pointer
yeah.
is on sale for $1,500.
From the Clippers game?
Yeah.
The 50-point bludgeoning?
You could buy it. You could buy it for $100,000, but you could also just buy it for
the 3-pointer.
Yeah.
How much is it?
The game winner shot.
That's a big shot.
Yeah, it's a big shot. Big
$1,500. How many are there?
There's 10 for sale, but do we know what the serial number is? Oh, there's a jersey number for $77,000.
Holy crap! I feel like that's important to know how many there are. 200. I mean,
damn, you could even see the person who owns it, even if they don't have it for sale.
Hashtag undervalued, right?
Hashtag where's my privacy?
Hashtag cheaper than Prison Base PSA 10.
Kobe Bryant owns number 54.
Dude, like, my brain just shifted into, like, bro, I kind of want to buy that.
What have you
I'm not
done?
Gonna lie. I'm not going to lie, dude. It's like, dude, like, listen to what I'm saying. If the LeBron block in Game 7 of the 2016, like, came up for sale for $1,000, if it was like $1,000, I'd be like, bro, I'm buying that.
LeBron from the first round, LeBron from the semifinals.
Yeah, Bob, I don't care about any of that. I want the dunk on the Kings from last year.
Oh yeah, on Bielitsa.
Here's the finals.
And I want that was 2 years ago. And I want the block. What is this? I don't know. What to know? It's like a regular play. That's like a Tuesday afternoon against the Grizzlies.
No, that was the Heat, bud.
I know. It's like whatever. He has 1 million of those.
People want us to open another digital pack.
Here's the
Maybe we should
dunk.
Dude, Adam said the King's Dunk sold for $28,000. I'm such an idiot. I don't even know anything anymore. My life is meaningless. I don't even know. That's what he said.
Lefko knows about this stuff.
Lefko, tell me about like super iconic ones, like the block on the backboard and like Jordan against the fucking Jazz. Like, where are the big ones? Are those things? Is that a thing?
No, Michael Jordan's not a thing.
Said sort by price sold and watch
the Kobe dunk.
Dude,
the Kobe dunk. The freaking, the one with everyone's making a poster of that dunk right now. Oh, there's like a marketplace where you can view. This is kind of cool.
He said,
highest price.
Sort by price sold, if you can figure out how. This website isn't like super intuitive to me either.
You're not a tech millennial, so just.
I literally used to work for a tech company. I don't know what you're talking about. Where am I going?
Okay, so you got listing date, lowest at. So this is all active stuff. We need to get over into like sold stuff. What happens if what's filters? What's that thing?
Do you think that they show the actual sold price?
I don't know.
Good question.
Like if it's best offer, do they tell you that it's the list price, or do they give you the actual sold price?
That's a very, very good question.
People are starting to understand in the chat. They're like, wait, can I just watch these whenever I want, like on YouTube?
Can you just click on them here and just watch them?
Yes. So obviously it's not about like being able to watch it, right? Like that's
right.
There's no collecting appeal to this. This is something.
Adam, what's the highest sold clip? What is it? Is it the Kobe dunk from LeBron against the Bulls? There we go.
And then maybe price. Can you like click that? No.
All right. Well, I guess they need to figure out their marketplace. All right. Can you save this and get us a new topic?
Yes. Can we like close this?
Yeah. So tomorrow we will be running our first clip breaks, by the way, on my Instagram. We're selling slots. DM me what number you want. Ooh, what is this? White Claw City. All right. Yeah, I just don't know how to transition something. Okay. So Lefko sent in a question to the story that said, are there any recent moments with non-hobby friends that made you think that the hobby is growing? I think that's a good question. But I don't have any, unfortunately.
One of my buddies from high school texted me today pictures of the mantle sale because he's a baseball guy. And he's like, yo, dude, I don't know if you heard, but like this sold today and the hobby's exploding, I'm like, well, yeah, I know. But yeah, totally. Like I've had a lot more non-hobby friends text me unprompted recently, especially ones that like, they don't know a lot about it, but they know that I'm involved, and they just like are becoming more interested in it. It kind of annoys me that the way that they enter into the hobby is through these like record-breaking sales, because that kind of stuff doesn't interest us as much as like the sort of day-to-day, like in the weeds things, like the more rare items. Like basically like when a mantle PSA 9 comes up for sale, we know it's going to break the all-time record. It's just a matter of like what's the most recent card to sale. So it's not as interesting to us, but that's what gets people drawn in, and whatever it takes, I guess.
Yeah, and plus there was a coordinated promotion campaign that was rolled out to push this sale, which was incredibly intelligent from the perspective of the buyer. Shout out Shia. I see you, man. That was incredibly intelligent by Rob Go and PWCC. And, obviously it benefits the hobby too. That's just like a win-win-win. Everybody kind of wins there. So, yeah. My brother and I were talking to my dad the other day, I guess it would have been yesterday, about the mantle sale, and piqued his interest. And My dad's a guy who could care less about financial markets or anything of that sort. And he was interested and he thought it was cool. So
it's a pet peeve of mine.
What's that?
Couldn't care less.
He could care less.
If he could care less, then he would, meaning he kind of cares about it.
Yeah, so he could not. There's no more or less caring to be offered.
We're degrading in value right now, so.
Yeah, okay. So, but, yeah, I haven't really, no, I don't know. I don't really know many non-hobby people these days. I don't know what
I think so, dude. I literally can't even picture you. Like, you were like, oh, I met up with my old friend, and I was like, wait, what? You have a friend outside the hobby that's not me? Who is this guy? I gotta meet this guy.
You would like this guy a lot. You know, this guy's he works in software as well. Tech-oriented guy.
He codes?
He doesn't code. He's involved with the remote monitoring of laser manufacturing equipment. So he is involved with an app. Yeah.
I just like the way you say code. You're like, can you just code this?
Is that the wrong? Am I saying it wrong?
No, it's just, it's like someone that doesn't watch basketball and they come in and they say like random basketball terms wrong and you're like, oh, that's cute.
Okay, so Authentic Goods Only said he wanted to get your opinion on Nat Turner's little nugget in the 2012 Prism basketball box video that he did. So he opened a box of 2012 Prism not long ago. In the video, he said, in 5 years, I think every card in this set will be gradable, even the Gortat.
Yeah, that's what I pulled from it too. I think he's kind of right. Similar to like people now grading all base cards from the 97 Metal Universe, all base cards from 86 Fleer. He's right. I just something that's interesting about modern cards is like whenever people get hyped about some modern card or something, there's always someone out there that gets reminded or excited about the predecessor to that. So like that's kind of why the 52 Mantle and the Honus Wagner are always going to be relevant because they are you can't. It's the same argument as like people getting excited about LeBron and then that reminding them of Jordan. You can't ever be the first Jordan anymore. Like Jordan is always the first for that comparison and that reality. You can't ever like be the first ever again. I'm in like 6 rabbit holes right now, but you know what I'm trying to say. Whereas like as 2012 Prism, it's still not the first, like set where every card in the set is gradable. There's 97 Metal Universe and there's 86 Fleer, where it's like those are always going to be more sought after than 2012 Prism. But I get the sentiment.
Yeah, the one thing I would be a little bit cautious about with 2012 is that the headline rookies, even with it being a double rookie class, are Davis,
no LeBron,
Kawhi, Kyrie.
Right. No Kobe, no Jordan, no LeBron.
Pretty much. So,
yep.
Yeah, I think that's of a concern. But by same token, it's the first Prism, and the pop report, I don't know, it'll be pretty low. Lillard,
like a hobby. It's a hobby checkpoint, though. Like the checkpoints are 52 Tops, 86 Fleer, 96 Chrome, 03 Exquisite, and 2012 Prism. There's like a checkpoint of like, okay, these are like a shift in the way the hobby works. It's like the first of its kind at this juncture. Like it's still, on that. All cards from 96 Chrome are gradable, right? Like, kind of.
Good question. I don't know. Maybe.
But also,
they made a lot of 96 Chrome. So
everything from 2012 is getting high grades. So I'd be cautious with that statement. Like, I'm not sure that like 2012 Prism base Gortat PSA 10s will ever be in demand.
Yeah, and those boxes are so damn expensive to open that I don't doubt for a second somebody opening that box might believe that, genuinely believe that as a way to justify opening the box.
Let's also keep in mind he got absolutely like destroyed on that box, right? Like what he paid versus even if he PSA 10s everything in the box, he's losing money.
Agree. Totally agree. That's the gamble with the box, you know. Or he could have got a Kawhi Gold out of there, but we know which way the odds go, and he didn't.
Well, that's how it goes, right? Like you're basically banking on getting a super high end, top of the line Kawhi or LeBron Gold, or kind of bust.
Yes, definitely. This question came in from DJ Tony Tone 85. After MJ and Kobe, which Hall of Famer is an under the radar grab right now?
After Kobe and LeBron, or Kobe and Jordan?
After MJ and Kobe, and he also had a question about 90s inserts, so I think he's looking at that era.
Sure. Tim Duncan. That's my guy. I mean, I'm not like a fan of him. I just feel like I guess I'm just like not understanding why he's not more collectible. I would think that people gravitate towards his personality of sort of like humility and, you know, like his quiet approach to the game. Allen Iverson, Grant Hill. I mean, dude, like that's what's kind of interesting is like everyone's so drawn to these new players and like the young guys, but like, and again, if you think back to the 90s, there's just like a handful of guys where you're like, man, that was the best when I used to watch so-and-so in the 90s. It's a list of like 10 guys. And today we're buying cards of like hundreds of guys. You know, it's just not going to last long term. So maybe take that into perspective when you're prospecting guys. But like, yeah, Duncan, Allen Iverson, Tracy McGrady, Grant Hill.
What about Shaq?
Shaq is like low key, like kind of cheap. Like his stuff is like, I love Penny Hardaway, but like Penny Hardaway cards are like the same price as Shaq. Like what the hell? Shaq should be way more expensive than Penny Hardaway. He should be like 10x Penny Hardaway.
And Shaquille O'Neal's rookie offering is not. There's just not a ton of rookie cards.
Yeah, and they're all like that was like junk box era.
Yeah, and Shaq does have some awesome cards though. You know, he has PMG Red.
He's in all the best 90s sets. Yeah.
I don't know how accurate that is, but we do have a predicted value on it.
20K.
But those are pretty tough to track, though, or to predict. Like that, those are some of the very hardest cards. Now, this is not a predicted value. Last comp of the Beam Team members only. It's a Pop 54.
That card is dope, man.
That card, dude. I love the Beam Team inserts. I think the foil effect just really pops.
I mean, like, put it in perspective. That's like one of his main rookies. Pop. Can I see the Pop 50 something?
Pop 54.
I mean, come on. Like, are you really going to tell me that like a Luka Silver Pop 2000 is the same price as a, you know, that's just, people can freak out about that comment, but like Shaq was amazing, man. He was so good.
Yeah, and there's 2 at auction right now.
That's awesome.
Right?
Yeah, I mean, you know, like people DM me all the time of like, oh, you know, Shaq is so undervalued and Hakeem and AI, these guys are so undervalued. I hear you on that, and like I agree with you. I think people don't pay attention to that era necessarily as much as modern as they should, but like I'm not sure that that's really going to shift anytime soon. Like I'm not sure there's just like this swath of Shaq collectors that are going to come out of nowhere and start, you know, increasing the value of all of this stuff out of nowhere because he's not playing. So it's hard to say that like his stuff is going to increase rapidly anytime soon. It's just more of like a safer, maybe like slow, gradual build on that kind of stuff. Right, undervalued for a reason. Like if people haven't bought it for the last 10 years, like why would they start buying it now?
I don't know if I necessarily agree with that, Josh, because I think that as the hobby continues to grow, like people will start to gravitate towards the older players that they remember and that are still in the public sphere, which you have Shaq and Barkley on TNT.
Sure.
And like I think that people will start to collect them, and you will see their collector base grow because they're like the comic relief of TNT now.
Sure. On like that graph that Jake posted a few months ago, like where are we though, Chris?
Yeah. So that graph is called like the life cycle of
Hype.
shit. Damn, I'm trying to
Development?
of market development maybe. I'm trying to find a picture of it so we can like talk about it while
I mean, dude, like what celebrity isn't like at least aware of cards at this point? You know, it's like how much more merge with your Jesmania. I'm just like I'm trying to be realistic. How much more new entrants can we possibly have?
I mean, I have seriously been asking that question for the last 5 years. So, okay, I found it. If I can get it to load here. Okay. It's called Stages in a Bubble. Right? So, starts with smart money in the stealth phase.
Denial.
So, I think we have to think at a minimum we're at institutional investor phase because we literally have institutional investors.
Dude, I think that September was that little dip right there.
This one right here?
Yeah, I think we're at like enthusiasm right now.
We've been through media attention, you think?
Yep, I think we're right there.
Okay.
Yeah, I think we're getting close to greed.
Oh yeah. I think we see greed on a daily basis.
That's the theme on Instagram that I see is we're right in between enthusiasm and greed right now. Like, this thing is so money that it's ridiculous. Like, this is exactly what's been happening. If you, like, zoom left a little bit. Totally. Takeoff was COVID. First sell-off was September.
Mm-hmm.
Media attention with, like, all the golden sales, Fox News, enthusiasm in the hobby. Like, people are getting hyped. Greed right now. It's crazy.
I don't think we're that public yet.
We've had like multiple ESPN articles now.
Yeah, but that's...
Can you hold this for me on the screen?
Like Adam Lefkoe, Rob Kardashian, like, I don't know. Maybe I'm crazy. What do you guys think in the chat? What do you guys think we are?
That looks pretty similar.
The fucking Mbappe, man.
So, okay, thank you. So, like,
where do you think we are, David? Mania? Can you zoom in? Where's Mania?
Maybe Mania isn't on this one.
Tulip Mania. People are saying to like search Mania. Where do you guys think we are on this graph right here?
I think we're still in awareness phase.
Show me.
I think there's still a lot of people that like don't yet know about the hobby.
You don't think we're in the first sell-off yet?
No.
Yeah, Christina, if you're right, then we're all going to be millionaires.
I mean,
but look, like, it already has happened on a micro level for certain cards. Like, that is this graph, right? Like, even down to the slope, if you just ignore this whole part, like,
yeah,
like that part, like,
it reverts to the mean.
Individual cards have like already gone through that months ago.
Can you just go to like the '03 Topps Chrome LeBron? Like, just put it into perspective for people that like that card has literally gone from like $1,000 to 20,000 like in a year. You know, a year and a half. It's just like.
So a year ago, the card was 2,400. 2 years ago, the card was $1,000, and it was $1,000 going back through 2018. It was $1,000 ever since 2016, basically.
Yeah.
It was around $400 for like 2 to 3 years before that. It was around the $200 range during the 2010, 2008. And then when it came out of the gate, it was in the $100 to $200 range. So, like, are you? So the thought would be, like, this graph is only halfway done, and it ends up looking like this.
Yeah, I mean, honestly though, dude, like, I know that I have a lot of money invested into all this, so like take this for what it's worth, but like go back to that graph, the red one, not the like I just don't ever see a scenario where we get to like that monster dip part where you go from return to normal to like crashing. I just like there's not enough supply to dictate that. There's just too much. I just don't know. Like I ended Bitcoin, it makes sense why it happened because there's like a bunch of supply. There's all these new like altcoins popping up out of nowhere, and like nobody knew what the fuck they were doing. There was no like intrinsic tangible value. It made that stuff makes sense, but I'm not seeing like what would cause that giant collapse on like, dude, literally if a PMG Jordan or a LeBron rookie card had that massive dip, I'd be fucking buying everything.
Yeah, no
and there's
doubt.
a lot of people that agree with me on that to the point where it would never dip that much because we'd all be buying.
Right, but if you're looking at the whole market, I think like that's different.
Okay, so hold on.
Sure.
The whole market is different. This is why. Okay, so but remember this. This chart, it is under the presumption that it's a bubble, and that's why my philosophy and my point of emphasis has always been that we want to collect cards and be involved in collectible items, because here's the big secret that I think a lot of investors have yet to grasp because they don't have any incentive to want to grasp it. Collectibles are investments on steroids, because whereas an investment is bought for the purchase of the speculation of a resale later, a collectible is collected for the purpose of not reselling it later. The items that don't get resold later, but that people continually want and demand because they're collectible, is an investment on steroids. And so I just believe that collectibles, as opposed to investments, are the way to proceed in sports cards.
Someone in the chat said, I hope everything crashes so I can buy more. You realize that statement alone is shared by many, to where just literally because you made those words come out of your mouth, it's not going to crash.
Yeah, exactly.
There's too many people in the market that are thinking that same thing of like, God, I hope it crashes so I can buy stuff. Because of that, literally just the deep-rooted sentiment of that statement will not let it crash. It just doesn't work that way.
Goes back to our slogan.
Which is good. Which is great.
You're right. That's the great irony of it. The fact that there are people out there waiting and hoping, myself included on some of the Jordans. The fact that we exist is the reason why it probably won't happen.
It's like, dude, I'm like shaking at the prospect of like some of the stuff that I want to drop, at the rate that we're talking about. I'd be like, oh my God, I want I want a LeBron exquisite rookie or something to dip below 40K because I would fucking go find 40K. You know what I mean? But it's like me and 50 other people are thinking that same thing, meaning it's not going to happen.
Yes, I totally agree. It goes back to our slogan, and there's so much wisdom in this slogan, and it's so catchy too. We don't like sports cards because they're good investments. Sports cards are good investments because we like them.
Wrong. They're good investments because we like sports cards.
People know what the them refers to. Look at, she couldn't wait to ding me. She couldn't wait to be like, wrong.
You made me buy a fucking pack of electronic clips today.
We did that.
Did you for real put that on the corporate card?
I did not. No, of course not.
Okay. God damn, I didn't approve that shit.
Yeah, no, that's.
I didn't approve of that shit. I put it on Christopher's card.
But we are thinking about opening card ladder clip breaks. Dude, I can't stop thinking about that little break though. Honestly, like it was kind of fun. It was kind of fun. What the fuck?
What happens if you get slot machines? You win a bigger prize.
Yeah, it was very slot machine-ish. I think they could install those as machines at casinos. But you don't even need that. You can just do it on your phone, I'm assuming.
This is why, I want to say, a year or two ago, on my YouTube channel, I kept saying it over and over and over, and I kept hammering it home that, you guys should be focused on the super high-end grails. And, I kept preaching about consolidation. I kept preaching about, dude, you guys got to get into the super rare, super high-end cards. And the reason I kept saying that was because in the event that, we hit a bubble or, people start selling stuff off, the stuff that people are going to, get thirsty over to pick up when that bubble happens is that stuff, meaning it will never actually drop. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Does that make sense? Yeah.
Dude, it makes complete sense. And it's also supernatural because, to me, I would so much rather have one grail than 10 medium to pretty good cards. So.
I mean, that's got the caveat in there that that's what I own, that's what I collect.
Sure.
You guys know I'm all about that grail consolidation stuff. So understand that that's not me pumping it because I've been preaching it for 2 years, and that's just kind of where I'm at with it. And that's my mindset of why I was doing it, because I just feel, if the market crashed, the support behind Luka base Prism PSA 10, Ja Morant, Zion Prism is not going to be there. Because that's the stuff where, if people start panicking and they're like, fuck this makes no sense, I'm selling it off. That's the stuff they're going to start dumping and selling, and the volume's going to hit, and it's literally going to, the bubble is going to burst on that kind of stuff. If the bubble were to start bursting on the high-end, super rare, incredibly high-end stuff, there's so many people like you and me lined up to be like, bro, I'll pay are you kidding me? You're telling me that I would have had to pay $200K, now I can get it for $30K? Dude, I'm in. I'll pay that, no problem right now. And so because of that kind of stuff is just not, you're just not going to see that. Whereas who's going to line up to be like, I'll pay $200 for a Ja Morant PSA 10? Oh, are you kidding me? I've been waiting for that Ja Morant. I've been waiting to add that to my PC. That person doesn't exist.
Let's say, so LeBron Topps Chrome PSA 10 base is at 20,000, and it looks like it might even be going higher. I'm just not a buyer of that card at that price.
No.
But if somehow in a magical universe, the exquisite RPA became 20,000, I would buy all 99 copies.
Totally.
I would buy all 23 parallel copies, and I would be the happiest freaking guy on the face of the earth.
There's so many people that feel that way, but
and you could put that number probably up to 100,000, and you would still be getting guys who aren't even LeBron collectors. That's why
you and I have been preaching rarity, because even on the LeBron Topps Chrome 2003, if the bubble burst and that card started getting sold off, I'm not one of those guys that's lining up to like, oh, I got to get that at 8,000. Like, dude, I could have bought that card at 8,000 like 100 times. Whereas like a Jordan PMG, a LeBron Exquisite early year, I've had no chances to buy it. And if you're telling me that 6 people are going to be selling those off at $30K, like I'm in. I've never had a chance to I'm getting that card. You know, like rarity, supply and demand are going to play itself out here.
And they matter so much to collectibles. So like, I remember I was hemming and hawing over whether to buy Luka Prism base PSA 10s at $40. And I was unsure if that item was collectible enough to spend $40 on it. And now it's a $1,500 to $1,700 card. And I obviously would never spend that much money on it. So, like, but there's other cards that, like, maybe for one reason or another, maybe I just didn't have the money. I passed on it at maybe like $20,000 or $10,000 or something. But if I had the money and it went up to 50, I would still buy it. So, like, I feel like items, because of their inherent collectability, have price points that exist that reasonable people, and depending upon one's means, those price points are just kind of there.
Sure.
Like, there's certain Jordan Grails that once could have been had for 20 grand, but I didn't have 20 grand at the time. But if those same Grails came up for 80 grand in 6 months, and I sold off some of my PC to have 80 grand, I would spend 80 grand to get that card because it's that freaking collectible to me.
That's what, I mean, people in the chat are like, you're discounting how many people want the Topps Chrome LeBron rookie. The thing that you're maybe getting an insight into Chris and I right now that's maybe hard to understand is like, we're collectors. Like, we're not collecting commodity cards. Like, those cards are easy to find, they're easy to get. I can conceivably sell off some other stuff, and I could go get one of those cards at any point if I feel like it. But the stuff like this, like the finest gold that I got, I've had 2 chances to buy one in 4 years. Like, it's never an opportunity for me to buy it. And as a collector, it's just a totally different mindset. And I think that's why we've been preaching, like, try to find cards and invest in cards and buy cards that, like, collectors want, because that's the kind of stuff that's never going to go out of style. Like, there's always going to be people thirsting for, like, that super rare Jordan insert or the super rare LeBron rookie or the super rare Luka Gold Prism. Like, there's just, there's a few cards that stand out. And again, like, we have to give the caveat that, like, we own that kind of stuff. So, like, we're super biased and, like, take it for us at our word that, like, we own it, so, like, we have a bias towards it, but, like, we've been in this hobby for 5 years, so we understand, like, what people want and what collectors are after.
Totally. And so the great Luka Tiger LeBrons weighs in, and so let's give a voice to to a different point of view.
Sure.
Don't shit on commodity cards too much, because if there was no market for those cards, you would have no one listening to you. And I think the spirit of that is that, like, there are levels and tiers, and they all sort of sit on top of each other.
Sure.
I think we are kind of challenging that premise a little bit. I think we might be kind of coming to the point of view that even if the commodity card tier were to drop off, that you might not. In fact, we probably don't think there would be a commensurate decline in the rarer stuff that we, highly seek out and chase. And, like, I can give some examples of that. So 96 Chrome, the Jordan base card got graded and graded and graded. And it had a spike in price, went up to $2,000 to $3,000, and then it retraced back down to being maybe like a $500 to $1,000 card.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm not sure where it's at right now. But it had it stepped back. Whereas the refractor, I think the collectability of that card, being the first Chrome refractor Jordan, is just not related to the base in the pursuit of the base card. But I think it's just two different people collecting it. But I think the point is a good one, especially from the perspective of, like, not everybody's going to be able to afford that refractor, but there is demand for it. So there will be people who will come in and buy the base card. And so, like, there will be tiers. There'll be like cascading tiers. And so if there's a healthy demand for an item, that demand is always going to be reflected throughout all the tiers. And I think there's validity to that point. All right, I've rambled a little bit. I'd like to hear some of you on that.
Yeah, totally. Like, I'm not blind to the fact that, like, the commodity cards have brought in a new wave of people that have inflated and increased the prices of my stuff. And I'm extremely grateful of that crowd, and I completely understand the point of view of those people that, like, dude, you can't just magically level up and climb the ladder overnight to get to, like, these super high-end rare items. Totally understand it. I'm very empathetic with that crowd. It's easy for me to sit up here on my mantle and be like, oh, you guys should only be collecting fucking exquisite LeBron rookie cards. What are you, stupid? Of course I can say that because I have some of that stuff, and I grovel at the feet of the people that are struggling to get to that point, and I don't know how to be more empathetic and more understanding of that other than to tell you that I am. So I totally get it. You're completely right. People have to start somewhere. You can't just magically, get $100,000 in sports cards overnight. It doesn't happen. I think what you and I have said over and over tonight is that it's not about the literal value of what we're saying in the exact specific cards. It's more of the mindset around it to create your own tier, like at your tier, wherever you're at today, whatever level within the hobby that you're at, create that same mindset and sort of dig your heels in at that tier with what we're saying and try to recreate that at that level, if that makes sense.
Makes a ton of sense. I know too, I think commodity cards are held by a lot of people who buy them, put them in a drawer, and don't think about them. I had law school friends last year who were looking at buying. Like, one guy was like, hey, if I just wanted to buy a Giannis card, like, what card would I buy?
Yeah.
And I was like, well, 2013 Prism Base PSA 10. Like, I told him about it when that card was like $500. And then he never bought it. And I would just send him eBay screenshots. Oh, 1,000 now, 1,500 now, 2,000 now, 2,500 now. And, I had another buddy at different context who ended up getting a commodity card, a Luka, and he saw it go from like $50 to $1,000 at BGS 9.5 Prism Base, and the guy doesn't think about the card. He just owns it. It just sits somewhere on a shelf in his house, perhaps, or in a drawer, and he just doesn't think about it. Maybe he'll check on it once every 3 months or something. I think like a lot of commodity cards might be in that type of situation where they're just kind of being held by people who just want to put a toe into the pool. They just want to dip one little toe in and just have a small part of it. And commodity cards are definitely good for that purpose, I think. Like, obviously, each player does have one card that sort of generally reflects the demand for them.
Yeah. And it's like, this is why I keep pushing on the humility thing, because, like, it's on guys like you and me and Stephen Go and Bob M-Track and Nat, and guys that like have all this crazy rare expensive stuff. It's on us to educate and help these new people coming in and sort of like set their expectations at the level that's proper and realistic for them, and to not just be like, oh, you guys can be card millionaires just like Nat. If all you do is follow these 3 simple steps, like, that's not realistic, right? So it's on us to like set the proper expectations and help these people as much as we can to get. If you really are genuinely coming into this hobby to try to build something, there's ways to do it. You may not be able to get to levels of certain Instagram accounts that you see. You just kind of have to like build your own path. And that's why, like, I love, and I'm like not trying to like pump Select and like different things, but like you can make your own trail of like, I'm the best Select courtside silver collector in the world or whatever. Like there's always going to be a lane. There's always going to be some area that you can kind of like build your own niche at. I'm never going to be looking at myself. I'm never going to own a Honus Wagner or a PSA 10 Mickey Mantle. Like everyone has something that they can't be at that super high level. So you just sort of like understand where you are and try to dominate as best you can at that level and work your way up into the next levels above you.
Well said, dude. And dude, what perfect timing for Sasha to pop into the chat, because first of all, Sasha's YouTube channel is booming right now. He's putting out new sports card videos, getting 5,000-10,000 views instantly. The content is amazing. He's storytelling, which is the key to success in the content world. And he's a guy who I was hanging out, Christina, me, him, a couple other guys in the LA scene, Coleman. We would all hang out at shows and stuff. I remember watching this guy, Sasha, pick up raw just by the dozens, Trey and Luca Prism base cards. And then in other cards, he was grading them. And then all of a sudden, this guy had built up like this small empire. And then through his videos, he's evolved into not only a very influential person in the sports card space, but a guy who's amassed an incredible collection and showing off 5-figure card mail days and stuff. Huge shout out to Sasha popping in the chat. Let me see if there's some other comments here that I maybe could get to. David is just straight up going off tonight. Love to see that. 13 Publius 13 says commodity cards have collector appeal. They definitely do. So especially for somebody who's just dabbling. So one thing that I felt we have 2 minutes left. One thing that I felt the need to do was to get myself a Mike Trout card. I don't really watch baseball. I don't really collect baseball that much, but I just felt compelled to have one. It would increase my interest. It would give me some skin in the baseball game, make it more interesting for me. So what card am I going to buy? If I need to buy a Mike Trout card, what card am I going to buy? So I went and I got the Topps Update Trout rookie BGS 9.5 quad 9.5. And I'm a collector. And like I do consider that a piece in my collection. So Josh, we got 80 seconds left, by the way, dude.
Dude, you're the Scott Hansen of hosting these. Like you never have to pee.
I took my break in the in-between. But
I'll leave it with one final thought that no matter what level you're at on the ladder today, no matter where you are in the collecting game, if you put in the time, effort, passion, and love for the hobby, you will dominate wherever you are and you'll move up quickly and you'll surprise yourself at where you can get to. I never thought that I'd have the cards I have today, but just the sheer will and like time and effort that I've put into it has gotten me to this point. So, start off with an expectation of where you are today, put in the time, effort, love, passion, you'll go way higher than you ever thought you could. That's all I'll say.
Church. The Card Church, dude. That's a beautiful way to end this thing. I just want to pin that comment because exactly. This is Card Church, dude. I think that if it wasn't called the crossover, I'd call it that.
All right. Love you guys. Great show. I wish it was next Friday already.
Maybe we'll come with some midweek content. All right. We're expired. See you, man.
Yeah.
The future is here. An innovation that will change the way the industry works. A Hot 100 chart. Updated daily. The most accurate price guide on the market. Every card has its own profile with a wealth of information. Know the precise, real-time value of any card in the system. On demand. You now have the power to unlock the secrets of the hobby. game changer is here.